What? Welcome to the show. Welcome back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Welcome back, y'all. All right, we are back in the house for another Thursday night Speak Pipe after a long break. And James is well rested, revving to go, ready to talk about this foolishness. And I hope you are here to join me in the madness. I appreciate you guys coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see the ones in the chat. For those that don't know, we put ones in the chat to signify that you can see me, you can hear me, and everything is lovely. Oh, wow. Oh, little duck. Yeah, James got a bit of a little burn on him. Hopefully everything is going well, and we are all living our best lives out here. We are doing the Speak Pipe tonight. We're going to talk about Speak Pipe, what you guys saw, what you guys feel is going on with the whole sister wife sphere, or anything that you guys want to talk about. We're discussing when you leave those messages, so make sure you hit us up at speakpipe.com/mytakeonreality, and we will get you guys in for that awesome sauce. I just want to make sure my stuff is up. All right. Just when you thought we were ready to go back into the water, nope, the sharks are in. All right, here we go. So, what has been going on? What has happened to the show? I know, right? See, that's what I'm saying. Who is that at? James takes a vacay and Kody gets a new show. I know, right? See, that's what happened. You take your foot up off these fools' neck, you back up off them, then all of a sudden they get enough room to get crazy. Good for Kody. Good for Kody. He's got himself a little show. He's stretching his wings. I think that for those who don't know, Kody has actually been cast, and I'm sure most of you do know, Kody's been cast to do a reality show called Special Forces. Now, Special Forces is one of those shows that really hypes up the idea of the Special Forces aspect of the military, you know, because we have like the tons and tons of movies and books and tales of like special force, what they call tier 1 forces, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, whole bunch of other stuff that we can't even talk about on the internets without getting this bad boy flagged. And I don't mean by YouTube, okay? And these guys, even though they are the most proficient soldiers, the most deadliest people walking around on the planet, if you've ever consumed any content from guys who are in these services, like they do have content creators, and then I've seen a few long time ago, and they'll get up and they'll talk about like a lot of what goes on. And you've had content creators who were in the tier 1 organizations, some of whom have been instructors in the tier 1 organizations. And they will tell you hands down, even though I respect these guys' service, I respect their sacrifices, I respect the sacrifices of the people who are surround them, their family, friends, etc. these are not good people. Like, and I don't mean that as these are bad guys, and that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is these are the people, like the special forces guys, these are unique individuals. All right. These are unique individuals. They're special in a way that they can, like, when they're given orders, in some cases, their orders are go save this person, go save that person. In other cases, their orders are things that will give the average person a nightmare. Like if they send a normal, well adjusted human being to do half the stuff that these tier one guys go do, guys and guys, well, I don't think they have any ladies doing it, but these individuals are doing, they go send them to go do that stuff. You will come back crazy as cat shit because they send them to do stuff on a regular basis that will give you horrific nightmares. And these guys will go do it and not think twice about it. They'll go do some crazy shit and go home and sleep like babies. Okay, these are unique individuals. So when we talk about, I say all that to say this, not to besmirch those guys, because those guys, those are like, these are the most well trained, like I said, most dangerous people on the planet. These guys are no joke. All right. Yeah, no joke. But when push them down the shove, when they turn it into a TV show, they get some of, like, they get a dab of what it's like, but they're not getting a training. It's not, it'd be like me going to like learn how to cook with Gordon Ramsay for 2 weeks. Yeah, I might know how to fry some eggs up by the time I'm done, but I'm not a Michelin chef by the time I finish. So it's kind of got that taint to it for me. The second part of it, when you have guys like Kody involved, it's going to be either completely you'll demonstrate the cracks in the system that they have as far as the reality show special forces, that if Cody's able to get through this, and some of the other people that they have, Lord have mercy, if they're able to get through this, the show is garbage. Okay, it's garbage. Because I don't think there's some of the professional athletes maybe, but these guys go through some stuff in order to do this training. I think that the dynamics of this type of show is very similar to, if you go to most gyms, they'll have like the Monday morning boot camp with Tom or Phyllis, and you show up, and just because they have you doing jumping jacks and a cadence, you know, you know, my mama was there when they left. Say what? Your daddy was there when you left. Say what? Your kids were there when you left. I left my home. You know what I mean? Just because you're doing it, and to join the army, just because you're doing the cadence and you're singing this stuff, you're not in the military. Because at the end of the show, the difference between you and the guys who are actually doing it, they don't get to say, you know what, I'm tired of this shit, and go home. You can't say, oh, I you know what, I changed my mind. This was not a good fit, and you leave, like you in that shit. So when you sign that contract, that commitment, you are in the shit. They own your ass for the next 4 years. They got you 3 to 4 years. They got you, right? So like that's kind of the feel I get with some of these reality shows doing the military stuff. It's just, it is what it is. Now, that's not to say it's not difficult. Some of the challenges, some of the challenges that I think Cody's going to be faced with, straight up, you are coming from a position where for the last 19 seasons, we watch you pretend to lead a family, right? To your benefit. In this particular training, because it's a game show, let's be honest, this is a game show. So you get to be self-serving in this game show. But that's not what it's about. You understand what I mean? So that's the weird part too. The weird part is that we've watched for the last 19 seasons, if we're gonna be honest, I have never, at least to my recollection, and I like to think that I remember a lot of these episodes very well. To my recollection, I've never seen Kody take responsibility for anything that he's done. Everything that happens to him is always somebody else's fault. Somebody else did something, somebody else didn't do something. That was somebody else's responsibility. Oh, he's messed up because Christine did this, or Janelle did that, or Mary did this. Nobody understands him. That's why the situation's all jacked up. You don't have that on this show. You also don't have the buffer of being on the show that's curtailed to you and how you feel. These folks don't give a F about your feelings. They don't care. Because technically, I'm looking at the cast list. We're going to look at the cast list for a second. You have Teresa Giudice and Gia Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's the mom and the daughter. Teresa's like an OG. Teresa's probably more hardcore than Kody. She's been to prison, okay? Teresa outlaw. She about to go back to jail. Teresa, damn jailbird. Okay. Then you have Brittany Cartwright. I'm not really familiar with her. She's from the Valley. You have Kody Brown from Sister Wives. Yeah, girl. All right. One we're familiar with. You have Eva Marcel, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that's going to be a hot mess. Then you have Brianna Chicken Fry LaPaglia, influencer podcast host. If your name is Chicken Fry, you probably are not going to be a good fit for anything physical. I don't know. I could be wrong. All right. Nick Young, NBA champion. The NBA guys, although they're in fantastic shape, they tend not to do well because they're too long. They're too big. Athletes. Sean Johnson East, Olympic gymnast. He should do really well. Andrew East, former NFL player. We'll see. Eric Decker, former NFL player. And Jesse James Decker, country singer. Somebody in trouble. Randall Cobb, former NFL player. Johnny Manziel, former NFL quarterback. Probably not going to do well. Christine Pierce Rampone, Olympic soccer player. Yeah. Actors, and this is where it gets kind of sketchy for me. Jussie Smollett, Juicy. This dude, he's the guy that got caught lying in Chicago, talking about he got jumped by some Trump supporters, and they tried to knock him off, and they hung like a clothesline rope around his neck, and he walked around the house with the clothesline rope on his neck, talking about they jumped me, he got me, y'all, and they found out it was his he hired 2 African guys to do the shit. It's crazy. They had it all on tape. Like, it was the dumbest thing. Like, there's a guy, Dave Chappelle, he had a joke. Because when Jussie Smollett, he's a black guy, and he's also gay. He's a gay dude. And when he came out and told his story, and he said, oh, yeah, they knew I was gay, and blah, blah, they jumped me. and the LGBTQ plus community was like, yeah, you gotta protect Jussie, and everybody was writing like stars and stuff, writing posts and stuff supporting them. And they noticed that a large swath of the African American or black community didn't openly say anything in support of Jussie Smollett. And when I first heard that shit, I was like, this don't sound right. What the Chicago's cold as shit, okay? Chicago's super duper cold. All right. Philly got the Hawk. Chicago got the Bear. Like, they're not, Chicago wind will knock you on your ass. They don't call it the Windy City because it's breezy. Okay, Chicago will jack you up. And this dude was supposedly out in a historic coldest day of ever in Chicago. Coldest day ever in Chicago, which is saying a lot. And he's out getting a Subway sandwich from the restaurant Subway, Freaky Jared Subway, foot-long Subway, getting a Subway sandwich at like 3 in the morning. I wouldn't go to Subway sandwich if I passed the Subway sandwich in the middle of the afternoon. It's too many options. 2 o'clock in the morning. If there's a Sheetz, Wawa, In-N-Out, Quickie Mart, anything, 7-Eleven, there's too many options for me to go to a damn Subway. Right? This dude was supposedly walking to a Subway, star of a very successful TV show at 4 in the morning. You don't have no food in your house. So, needless to say, nobody came out and supported Jesse. And you guys ain't supporting him. And Dave Chappelle said exactly what I was thinking. Like, they got mad at us because we didn't come out and say anything, but we didn't say anything. Us not saying anything was us supporting them, because clearly this motherfucker was lying. Like, clearly, there's no way he was telling the truth. I was like, it's just two random ass guys driving around Chicago looking to cause problems, and they happen to find a guy who's on a very successful TV show. I couldn't find Jesse Smollett if I was looking for his ass. Okay, two rando guys are just gonna find him. Not to mention, if we're gonna be honest, I've seen Empire. I was watching some of the earlier versions of Empire. Speaking of which, I'll put a pin in a song from Empire. But I've watched Empire, and I'm here to tell you that show, and I don't want to be funny, and I'm not trying to make this political at all. All right. But that show is definitely not in a demographic. Like, people who are like staunch folks typically are not going to watch a show that revolves around alternative lifestyles that's primarily about certain groups of folks. It's just what it is. All right. Sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. So I was like, they would have a problem knowing who the hell he was. They would have no idea who he was. And apparently they supposedly called him by name and started saying that he was like, this and that. And there's no way that they could look at him and tell him what sexual orientation he is. But he's saying that they knew because he was on this show. My man, they wouldn't have no idea who you are. They would have no idea. This would be one of those crazy things in the world where you jump somebody of means and you didn't mean to do it. Like, if I went and got into a fist fight with the son of the governor of Tennessee while I was in Tennessee, I would have no idea who this dude is. Right? You jump them, you beat the shit out of them, and then when the cops pull up and they say, "You done messed up, son. You done beat up the governor's kid," I would be horrified. Who? Who is he? The governor? I didn't know the governor had kids. Yeah. What's the governor's name? I don't know. I don't even know what the governor looked like. You know what I mean? If I would be honest. So it was one of them situations. So he's on the show, Jesse Smollett. When I saw that, I was like Kody already had me on the fence. But when I saw Jesse Smollett, Juicy, I was like, oh shit. There's no way this show is anything close to Special Forces. And I'm not saying that because, they do have guys who are part of the LGBTQ plus community in the Special Forces. Don't get that shit twisted. Okay. And they will murk you. You will get murked. If you mess with them, you get murked. You will turn up missing. All right. So I'm not saying it because of that. But this guy, he's not one of the guys I would think of. All right, so for him to be on the show, that's a hot mess. Crazy casting. Ravi V. Patel, actor. I'm not even sure who that is. The other is a Chanel Aman, model. You got a model up there? Somebody making bad career decisions. Mark Estes. I think I'm familiar with him. TikTok creator. Look, folks, I'm telling you, this John, the one thing that bothers me, and I'm gonna get this part of it out the way. The one thing that bothers me with Kody being on here, it is it revealed something in me that I didn't like. Because as soon as I saw that he was gonna be on the show, part of me, if I won't be honest, Danny Townsend is where Danny Townsend, yeah, this shows where D-listers go to die. Yeah, yeah. That's accurate. That shit is accurate. Um I agree with that. This is like the dance. This is like the military version of Dancing with the Stars. This is like back in the day for the folks who were around and cognizant at the time. This is like the equivalent of the Love Boat. When you do a guest spot on the Love Boat, your career is pretty much over. Okay, when you do I haven't seen anybody have a resurgence after appearing on Dancing with the Stars. You know what I mean? Like, who is that? Kate plus eight, Kate Gosselin. She did Dancing with the Stars. She didn't get a new reality show. People go on. The crazy part is you do Dancing with the Stars. You could possibly get hurt in Dancing with the Stars. My wife and daughter have watched Special Forces season 1 and 2. I don't know if they watched season 3. But when I would walk through and they watch the Special Forces, I'm telling you, some of these people get jacked up. Like they get hurt, okay? Because they put you in bad situations that you are not prepared for, and that's the crazy part about it. Like TLC is a level of dangerous, okay? TLC has a level of danger because they will put you in a room with people who you really shouldn't be in a room with because they either have temperament problems, emotional issues, or they just frankly have a problem with keeping their hands to themselves. TLC is dangerous that way. These folks are taking it to a whole nother level. Like the makers of Fear Factor. They put you in situations where you could get maimed, you could get crippled, like you could get jacked up on Special Forces. I'm talking about hurt bad, okay? And where I was concerned with myself and where I was, like my mental state. When I heard that he was going to be on Special Forces, right? My first thought is, this dude going to get jacked up. And I kind of giggled. And I was like, oh, James. Like, what are we doing? That's super negative. Like, super negative. Like, I don't want to see nobody get hurt. But if you are a person like Kody Brown's personality, I don't know how he's going to go with this. Because I can see, like, what are you famous for? Like Teresa Giudice, she thinks she's kind of a diva. She's like the Kody Brown of the Real Housewives of Jersey. Her and her daughter, like they think they something special. They think they made it and shit, right? So you have that. So you have a lot of those competing egos, and you don't have a show that curtails to your ego. So they're in for a rude, it's going to be ugly. Like this show is going to be ugly. Then, of course, you have, like I said, you have Jesse. He's trying to make it back into the spotlight. He's trying to get back into Hollywood because where he was, nobody wants him because he made a fool out of a lot of the people. You know, a lot of people supported him. They talked a whole bunch of trash, not realizing that this dude was lying and he was pulling them all into his lie. And he ruined everybody's credibility who supported him because his story was so ridiculous. His story was stupid as shit. If you ever have a chance, go watch Dave Chappelle stand up on Jussie Smollett. It's classic. It is the most accurate shit ever because he said almost word for word what I was saying when that story first came out. Like even down to the cops coming out and talking about it like, oh, you were headed to Subway Sandwich. To Subway. Sandwiches? Like, hey, who go to Subway? There are people who work at Subway don't go to Subway. I don't know what you talk about. Yeah, so I just don't know. I don't know. Like this show, and the crazy part is, and what kind of made me giggle is the fact that he was going to be on it. But then there's the reality part. This season 4 is going to be crazy popular. It's going to be crazy popular because you're going to have a lot of people. Because I think Teresa and her daughter, I think they had a problem from Real Housewives of Atlanta. They had a problem with Andy Cohen, who is one of the head honchos of Bravo and runs that show. Because Teresa's daughter got put off a show. So they brought her on to this show, and she's trying to break away from uh, that show. Then, of course, you have Eva from Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you have a lot of people who are trying to branch out past the shows that they were on. The problem is that because you have a lot of like heat coming onto the show, it's only going to encourage bad behavior. So if this show is like crazy popular because Sister Wives fans watch it because they want to see Kody fail, at the end of the day, for Kody, it's still a success. Let me give you an example. I've done stand-up comedy, right? Done stand-up comedy professionally, right? And the crazy thing I've had a lot of hats on in my life. The crazy thing is that you could be funny as hell. You could side splitting, putting people in the hospital, have them laughing so hard, right? You could be that person. And if a booker, club booker, the guy who arranges the acts, calls the acts in, puts the shows together, if he has a choice between this person is hilariously funny, will have an excellent show, people will leave out of here laughing, hearts content, loving the show, loving the place, this guy A. Then you have person B, not funny at all. Get up, tells a bunch of inappropriate, cringy ass jokes that just, I can't believe he said that. Who jokes about children that way? Like that person, if they can fill that venue up with their friends and family or people who like that sort of comedy, if they can fill that venue up, they will 100% book guy B, person B over person A 100% of the time. Why? Because it's show business. It's not about the show. It's about the business side of it. And when it comes down to it, if Kody can bump these numbers, not only will he be in Special Forces, they're back again episode, whatever, the best of the best, the worst of the worst Special Forces people, they'll bring him back again for that particular show. Not only will they bring him back for that show, but it'll also encourage other shows to put him on those shows because people will hate watch those shows. And to be honest with you, the algorithm, whether it's YouTube or television or radio or music, whatever, going to see movies, they can't distinguish between whether you hate watch it or whether you love watch it, whether you love this material or whether you watching it because you want to see the people fail. And frankly, the people who run the show don't care. They care about the number of eyes that are on the show. They don't care about whether you enjoy it or not, whether you support it or not. They don't care. They don't care. So with that being said, because I was going to come out with a video, because I did hear about it early, and I was going to come out with a video, but then it kind of got to that point where it's like, am I going to support this jackass? Because I won't be putting money in his pocket. Like, and he does some shit that just turns my stomach. Like, Kody Brown, Kody. Now, with that being said, I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. Am I probably going to watch this show? Most likely. Because I recognize what's going to happen. It's going to happen whether I watch it or not. It's not. I'm not slowing shit down. I'm probably going to watch some of it, probably. If it depends. I'll start watching it. If it gets too ridiculous, if it gets too stupid, then I'm out. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. But I know that if he goes in, and this is my prediction, straight up my prediction on the Special Forces show. If Kody goes in and he's humble and he he's humble and he goes in and he's trying to learn stuff and he's trying to actually do this stuff and he's not trying to, outshine or be the star or, oh, I could do this. Oh, this is easy. Oh, all you got to do is, and trying to counsel other people. If he doesn't do that, he'll be fine. My prediction is, especially the way Kody kind of rolls, especially when it comes to these, because it's not going to be him and a bunch of guys. It's going to be him And I think that he's going to get on the show, and eventually he's going to start talking shit about these women on the show, talking about how they can't possibly do it, and they really couldn't hack it, and this is a man's game, and I don't want to be a pig or nothing. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be an asshole. But, this is a man's thing. This is for men. We're the leaders. And if he does that shit, good luck, Irene. Okay? Good luck, Irene, bro. Because you are going to get smoked. You're going to get smoked. And either way, I don't care whether you a man, woman, whatever. When you go do these types of challenges, this stuff is unyielding. Like I said, I've watched some of these like previous seasons. I've watched, some of these episodes. This is hard. This is they are not playing around. Those instructors, they're not playing with these people. Because there's safety issues and everything else involved. Like their stuff isn't like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick up the powder puff. We're going to run 50 yards. And if you can't make 50 yards, you just run as fast as you can. Do the best you can. You put the powder puff down. You do 10 jumping jacks. If you can do 10, okay, do as many as you can, the best you can. And then you walk back. You walk back. You don't run. You walk back. That's not what they're doing. They're putting them in helicopters, having them jump off of helicopters in the freezing water, swimming to go get some shit. They tie them to stuff, drop them into water, and tell them they got to get themselves loose, and they got to swim to shore holding a rifle over their head. All kinds of crazy stuff. Like, these guys are serious. Like, the challenges are ridiculous. Okay? And it's one of those things where if Kody saw himself as a true reality star, he is a true star. This is not one of those shows. You will never see an A-list actor doing this show. Not a current working A-list actor. Okay? You know who's crazy in Hollywood? I'm going to tell you a secret. Not even a secret. It's a quiet as kept. Everybody knows it. You know who's crazy as cat shit in Hollywood? Tom freaking Cruise. Okay, Tom Cruise is the American Jackie Chan. This dude does his own stunts. I personally believe, my personal belief, Tom, don't hold it against me if you see it. I think Tom Cruise actually comes up with crazy ass stunts that he wants to do. Crazy, I wouldn't say stunts. He comes up with crazy stuff that he want to try. And he puts it in a movie so he could get paid to do it, and he can have somebody else pay to do it and insure it. I've heard stories where Tom Cruise will want to do something, and the safety guy, whose whole job it is to keep people safe on set. That he is there to say, no, don't do that. That you'll get jacked up. No, that'll cut your arms, rip your arms clean out they sockets. Don't do that shit. That if you want your leg cut off, you want to be about 4 feet shorter, yeah, do that because it's gonna knock you off at your knees. Like that guy, right? The safety guy. The safety guy has looked at stuff, especially when connected to Tom Cruise's property, Mission Impossible. He's looked at some of those stunts. He's had safety guys say, there's no way in the world anybody should do this stunt. Nobody should do the stunt. Certainly not the star of the whole franchise, who if you die, the whole franchise is done. Right? Everybody's fired. If you get killed or you get hurt, this movie is done. We're all done. So we're not going to make stunt people who are trained to do this stunt because it's so dangerous. Tom Cruise has fired guys for saying stuff is too dangerous. The safety guy will come out and be like, yeah, we can't do that. That shit too dangerous. He fires them, go get another safety guy to say, okay. Okay. And then Tom Cruise go do some crazy shit. This dude is certifiably insane, right? I can see him doing some of this stuff, right? He flew with the Blue Angels when he shot Top Gun. He wanted them to let him fly a F-14, right? That's part of his contract. He flew an actual Tomcat in that movie, and he had to go through training to do it. So I think he would be a good candidate for this type of show. But you will never see him on this show because he's too valuable and they do too much crazy shit. They go too crazy for Tom Cruise. This is beyond Tom Cruise crazy. That's what I'm saying. Okay, the stuff they have them doing is beyond Tom Cruise crazy. So there's no way. I think Kody Brown, like Kody, don't disrespect to Kody. Kody's in great shape for a guy his age. for a guy his age, okay? They have 20-year-olds who pass out and get hurt doing this type of stuff, right? And that's no just like it's not ageism, it just is what it is. Like guys who are fit, trim, best of the best in the military. Like they have a group of guys in the Marines, they say, okay, those 4 guys are the best we have. They do all the obstacle shit in record time. They're amazing. Only one of those guys is actually going to make it to tier 1. Maybe. And that's the training Kody is supposed to be doing. And you want me to believe it? This dude is doing it. And guy, and I hate to be this guy. I'm sorry I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. I hate to be this guy. But part of me, if I'm going to be 100% honest, if he makes it through this shit, we will never hear the end of it. He will act like if he makes it through this show and not get maimed, killed, and he doesn't have to win it. He just make it to the final episode. If he makes it to the final episode, we will die hearing about this shit forever. He'll be sitting talking about it like he came back from Nam, like he was in Fallujah or some shit. Oh yeah, when I was this whole episode with Teresa or with not Teresa, with Christine. What I'm going through with Christine, reminds me of the season I was on Special Forces during my special. He won't even say season. He'll say during my Special Forces training. Yeah, this is one of the struggles that we went through as a team and as a unit where we really tested our mettle, right? Because I was in the Special Forces. I received Special Forces training. Dude, you haven't received Special Forces training? Are you crazy? You're on a TV show. And part of me is like, I hope he washes out just because I don't want to hear that shit for the next 5 seasons on Sister Wives. When I was doing Special Forces, when I was in the Special Forces, well, you in special classes if you think you was on Special Forces, brother. That's crazy. You are not, no, you haven't done anything. All right, and don't do the my sons, I've had 3 sons serve. There was Hunter, he went into the OCS, he went into the officer candidate school. And then I had my son, both Peyton and Big G's Garrison. They enlisted. They went in as like privates, not even privates, but privates. And they worked their way up. And me, I started at the top because that's what I do. I went straight into the Special Forces. So I know what they went through. This really brings me closer to my kids. No, it doesn't. This is the equivalent of, they have a show called 60 Days In. Right? It's a show where you have people who are former prisoners. You have people who have never been in jail. They sign up with the sheriff or wardens in particular prisons, and they'll go into the prison as civilians who have not been convicted of any crime, and they're supposed to observe and report their treatment and how it went and this, that, and other, so they can get a taste and a feel for what it's like to be locked up. And it's called 60 Days In. You're only there for 60 damn days. 60 days is 2 months. You got a 2-month prison sentence. Now, let me tell you something. Some of these people go in there, I've seen that. There was one season I watched. This guy went in there. He was in that bad boy for, I wouldn't even say a half hour. And you supposed to start talk about how it's hot in here and how you need to get out. And people here, they're like, oh, it's hot in here. It's hot in here. They put him in the cell. He was walking to the cell. Talk about it's hot. Then when they went, they couldn't go right in and pull him right out because then it'd be obvious that he was a plant. So they had to process him, and he had to stay there for a little while. He was scared as shit. Okay. And you know who typically lasts the longest? The people who play it being locked up, never been locked up. Those are the people who last the longest on those shows. You know who lasts the shortest? People who've been in jail before. I know what it's like in jail. I think I can handle it because, I've been in this. I know what it's all about. I know who to talk to, who not to talk to. I know about prison politics, all that shit. They go there. All of a sudden, they say, I want to get the hell out of here. It's hot in here. You know why they don't want to be there? Because the first time you win, no matter how much time you was there, You were forced to be there. Nobody asked your opinion about whether you want to go or not. No judge was sitting up there like, oh, you were stealing cars. Would you like to go to jail? Yeah, I'll do 5 years, sucker. Would you like to go to jail or go to college? I'll go to jail. I like prison. Right? I want to get in that prison exercise program because I want the washboard abs and that chiseled chest. Nobody does that shit, okay? I'm trying to get yoked for the summertime. So I'm gonna get on one of them prison fitness programs. Nobody does that shit. Right? And that's what this show is like. Special Forces, that's what this is like. If you have you sign a contract to be in the military, your MOS, military operational, basically your job, right? You are in the military. If you shift to the SEALs, Delta, you know what I mean, the Rangers, you shift to one of them tier 1 groups and you wash out, they don't wash you out of the military. You go wherever they assign you at that point, or whatever your next MOS is, like your next military occupation, your next job is going to be. You go there, okay? You don't go home. And that's where I think Kody and them get the benefit of doing all this crazy stuff. You get hurt. You still in the military hurt. Unless you get crippled or something to the point where you can't serve anymore, then you might get a early discharge from the military, a medical discharge. Other than that, if you break your arm in Navy SEAL training, your arm just broke. After 6 weeks, your arm healed. You get back to doing some push-ups. You back in it. This is your job. You're just not a Navy SEAL now. And I think that's kind of the weird part about like this show too, because it gives you like a false sense of like, oh, this is what it's really like. This is not what it's really like. Because at any time you could pull the plug on it. You could say, I'm done. Like you could be in that helicopter with all the get up on, all the gear, with your rucksack on your back. You know, you round that corner and you look and the guy be like, all right, they flip that door open. You look down, you look at that water, and the guy say, go, go, go. No, take me home. Take my ass home. I'm not jumping out of this helicopter, not today. And if you push me, you going to jail. Okay, you push me, you put your hands on me. The last thing you do outside of cuffs will be you putting your mother hands on me, sucker. You going to jail today. Turn this bird around, put me on the ground, sucker. Call my car, call my mama. I don't care. You can keep my shit. I ain't gotta pack nothing. Just put me in a car, send me home. I'm done. Right? And that's it. Right? They'll talk shit about, yeah, you know, he ain't nothing. He ain't cut out to be a military man. Okay, fine. Not everybody is. I'm okay with that. I'm walking out of here, though. How about that? Walking out of here with both my good legs. I'm not jumping out of nothing. Right? But that you don't have that in the military. When you go to boot camp and they have you climb up that rope ladder or jump off of some stuff, they're not asking you. You got to rappel down. They're not asking your opinion. I don't want, that ain't for me. You better get your ass over that. That drill sergeant come hollering in your ear. Look here, you better get over there before something happens. And start yelling at you. And then you have guys. And the thing is, if you never experienced, you never experienced. You go into the military, you have guys who will talk to you and say shit to you, men, women, instructors. They will say shit to you that you have never heard. They will call you things. There's no PC in military. Okay, they will call you shit and they'll hurt your soul, Jag. They will hurt your soul. They will tell you to do stuff. They're not asking you nothing. They're not asking your opinion. How do you feel? You feel okay? You feel like you can continue? They don't care. They don't care. Get your ass over that. If you are still standing here, they get to yell it. Man, he is not ready. Kody is not ready. Okay? You are not ready. And I'm looking at most of this. And I'm saying, Kody, Teresa Judice, you are not ready. Well, I did some bodybuilding and I worked out and I competed in a bodybuilding event. And because I was on the show, I came in second place, which is a ripoff because the only reason you got second was because I saw those other women who were you were competing against and you did not deserve second place. I'm sorry. Those women were looking nice. they was washed. Like they were dry. Like them women was strapped out on gear. But I mean, it is what it is. She was not ready. And you going with your child? What's gonna happen as a parent? Could you stand there and watch a grown man or a grown ass woman fly up in your child's face, barking orders, telling them to drop down, give me 25? Could you stand there and watch some grown person yell at your child like that? You know what I mean? Calling them all kinds of names, call them everything but the son of God or the daughter of the Lord. You know what I mean? They calling them all kinds of stuff. If you don't get your plastic ass face in that mud, give me 25. Count them out. You're like, there's no way in the world. Okay. So that's a loss. Like, I don't know how long they gonna last. And Gucci don't go good with green. You know what I mean? Like, I got some green Gucci boots. That is not military camo. You are not gonna do good, Teresa and Gia. The rest of these people, I'm not even really super familiar with. But just those, I'm telling you, this show is gonna be a hot ass mess. It's gonna be a hot ass mess. You know what I mean? You know what a good example is? There's a military drill sergeants. There was a movie. They actually got a drill sergeant to do the movie. It was a Vietnam movie. I forget the name of it. It had the guy who played in Law and Order. He played Private Gump. I think it was Gump. No, not Forrest Gump. Private Pile. From yeah. Private Pile. Full Metal Jacket. If you play that first part, the guy who did the role as a drill sergeant was an actual drill sergeant. He was an actual drill. That's how he got the role. He was there to advise the cast and the guy that they were the actor they hired to be a drill sergeant. He came in to advise that guy. He got to rolling, and he went back in the drill sergeant mode. He put that hat on. Once he put that hat on, and he was in it, right? And he started talking that shit to them guys. Man, let's just say they took a guy, Private Powell, Dorfino. He was from Law and Order. Excellent actor. I love to work with that guy one day. But they took him. They made him the perfect soldier. Like, this dude was messing up the whole time during boot camp. They turned his ass around. They made him a killing machine. This dude he was wild. He went from not being able to run to doing everything. Okay? Turned him around, and he went bananas and wound up knocking off. He knocked off the drill sergeant and slumped himself by the end of that first part of the movie, the boot camp part. But that's what it's like at boot camp. Getting yelled at, screamed at, all that other stuff. It is not a pleasant place. It's not a happy place. Okay. And Robin ain't there. You can't escape. Like, this is a guy who can't escape, who can't handle dealing with 3 wives at a time. Okay. Who has to have a place to escape when he has difficulty dealing with one of his wives. You telling me he's going to do special forces training, which is a notch up from like the stuff that you see at boot camp in Full Metal Jacket, is only like a drop in a bucket compared to what they put them guys through at the tier 1 training facilities. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why would you sign up for that? We got some super chats though. Let me get some of these super chats in. We had Jody Periscala 5891 with the $4.99 super chat. You should see how Stephen Baldwin yelled at the medic. He couldn't get hurt. I watched all 3 seasons. He was a diva. Yeah, I can't get hurt. You can't. Oh man, I can't get hurt. Then why did you sign up for this? This show is dangerous. Okay? This show is dangerous. When you were signing your contracts, you should have went through your contracts. You should have read that shit. I know they have disclaimers in there where they tell you we cannot guarantee your safety. We will do our best. You know what I mean? This is like if you go down to Mexico and you see some sketchy ass guys on the dock and they have like the excursion booth where they're like, we have the reputation guys and we have the advertisement and insurance. You pass all those booths because you want to go down to the end of the dock with the guy whose boat look like is barely floating in the lagoon. And he's going to take you out to the middle of the ocean to go scuba diving because that's a good idea. Yep, that's what you signing up for. And when you get on that boat, everybody on that boat is looking at you like you know what you signed up for. Now, you do understand that if something happens when we in the middle of the ocean, you get hurt or you can't get on the boat or a shark bite your ass, we're totally leaving you. You understand it, right? And it's not, they might not expressly tell you, but it's one of those things when you hook your leg over the top of that boat, you hoist your fat ass into that boat, you recognize that when you did that, you have basically told them that whatever happens to me is okay. I don't care. Right? I understand that I'm potentially going to die, have a watery grave. I understand that getting into the boat. And when you sign up for this type of show, you have to understand that. Like this show, like you could get hurt doing this show. And it'll be like you jump out of a helicopter, you hit the water wrong. What's the guy supposed to do? Hey, dive in there and save his ass before he hit the bottom. That's all they got. You know? Oh, I can't wait till we get in the... And they did have like the one thing that was kind of weird to me, they do have like a pugil sticks where you come out, you have like pads on each end of a stick and pads in the middle. And they were like put on basically football helmets and they go out there and try to fight each other and get around. They did do a episode with that, and they had everybody doing it. And they didn't have weight classes and they didn't break them down according to gender, right? So certain people had tremendous advantage over some of the other contestants. And in that case, I can see Kody going out there trying to house some of the ladies physically. The ironic part is that some of those lady soldiers, because they do have I think they had a couple lady instructors. If Kody goes up against some of them lady instructors, my man might get a big old slice of humble pie. Okay, because in some cases you do have an advantage. Weight is an issue. Like you do, if you outweigh somebody, it can correspond to power and your durability without question. However, there's a lot to be said about skill too. And some of these folks, when they're in these organizations, they coming from the military, they have a certain skill set, you know. And I don't know if Kody, like, you know, he might have taken some boxing classes and stuff, maybe a couple of Krav Maga classes, maybe some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he think he ready because you had like I'm a white belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've been working on mats for a little while now. Plus, I was a wrestler in high school. None of that shit is gonna matter when you're dealing with somebody who's been trained. And none of that is really gonna wash. It ain't gonna make a difference. They might intentionally put Kody against some of these ladies so he can get done up. Which is, yeah, and that's another thing because he comes from a show where whether he likes it or not, you come from a show where you were essentially a misogynist taking advantage of your wives or your co-stars. That's the show you're from. Sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. And some of the people who you are going to co-star with on a different reality show might not like the fact that you were a former polygamist and how you were treating your wives and the stories that they hear out of that camp. And so you might face some adversity because of that. And it'll be interesting to see that dynamic. I'm kind of curious. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to. Seeing like how some of the people react to Kody being on the show. Because I can see it starting out like everybody's trying to respect each other and all that. But after about a week, or not even a week, after the first hard exercise, I say the first hard exercise, After the first hard exercise, first hard outing, if Kody tries to give some advice, he's gonna get ripped to pieces. If he tries to give the analogy about how this is like being married to having 4 wives, kick, kick, kick. This ain't as tough as having 4 wives. I had 4 wives, and that has to be tougher than running this up this hill or jumping out of this helicopter. Or he says the classic, I ain't afraid of nothing but poverty. Poverty the only thing that scared me. He say that shit, they're gonna give him something to be scared about. Oh, that's just because you haven't done enough. I like shooting pew pews. Okay, you like shooting pew pew? That yeah, man, that's my thing, boy. You know, I had a business. I was selling accessories for pew pews. Like I was like Elmer Fudd up this joint, boy. I had that big old jammy. I love it. Okay, you really like shooting? Yeah. Okay, here's what we're gonna do in this exercise. In this exercise, you're gonna get shot at. Welcome to the military, where shit blowing up behind you, shrapnel's flying by your head, stuff is going past you the whole way, and you could get jacked up at any moment. And there are no retakes. That's another thing that is kind of interesting for me too, for this particular show. On this show, Kody doesn't have any influence. On Sister Wives, you can still see, even though his influence is way less substantial than it was when Puddle Monkey was doing the show, producing the show, he still had influence on the show. And he had a say. He doesn't have a say here. So you very well may see sides of Kody Brown that you've never seen before on over the 19 seasons of Sister Wives, because he doesn't have the power to edit button. And they don't give a shit what he's talking about. If you don't like how stuff is going, you don't like how we're talking to you, quit. And we will run B-roll on you and make you look stupid. We don't care. Because they already have everything they need from you when they cast you on the show. People are going to watch the show because you're on it. And the people that they get on the show, they're going to love it. If they figure out that you are really popular and you wash out early, they might bring you back for another episode or another season. But as far as it goes, they have no obligation to try to keep you on the show. Plus, they have too many other divas on this show. Looking at the list of folks that they have too many other divas to try to adhere or curtail the show to one or another person. It's too many folks. So, and let's be honest, people tune into this show. We're going to be brutally honest. People tune into this show to watch folks get roasted. Okay, this is you're tuning into this show to watch people. They are going to get roughed up on this show. That's what people tune into this show for. This is like Fear Factor. This is like the military version of Fear Factor. Literally, it's the military version of Fear Factor, where they do stuff, they have you doing stuff in the military, like especially like Navy SEALs training, which is more popularized and people are more aware of it. It's straight endurance. Like they keep you up all night. You don't sleep. They have you training all the way around the clock. You know what I mean? Even when you eating, you basically train it. They train you the whole time. They drop you off in the middle of somewhere and have you run back, or they take you out in a boat. Especially the SEALs, all they do is swim. Right? So they take your ass out in the middle of the boat, in the middle of the ocean. They be like, okay, shore is that way. And they push your ass out, tell you to jump out the boat. You jump out the boat, you start swimming. You and your group start swimming. Right? It's all endurance. Like, so it's not like these safety exercises that they run on this particular. That's why it's kind of weird to me too. It's all endurance. It's all like mental pardon my French, but it's all mental fuckery. Like they just basically screwing with your mind the whole time to see if you could take it. And that's why, like, physically, the people who go into the tier 1 programs, physically, these guys are these people are specimens. They're human specimens. It's they know that they can do the stuff physically. It's whether you can handle the mental aspect and the mental combat that they're going to put you through, the mental struggles that they're going to put you through. Like, you could come out of, like, Kody could come out of this and he might very well need a therapist. Especially looking at some of these actors and some of these folks that they have tied into this show, they might leave out of there in a straitjacket, whistling to themselves, farting in bathtubs and shit, giggling their ass off. Like, you might be in trouble, Jack, if they really put you in a program. So, I don't know. But yeah. But if you're a diva, you're not gonna do well on this show, I don't think. But thank you so much, Jody. Let me get a little something. Little shot, and we have Becky S. Starfire 84 RN. What? $10 super treat. I love to watch because of Codester, but there are other people I won't support. Yeah. There's definitely people that I like. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Smollett, not at all. Like, because I don't respect that. Teresa, she's a weirdo. Her daughter, I'm not really familiar with her daughter. I don't really comment on that. But there's a few people that's just like, when I saw the list of folks, like when I saw Kody was on the show, I was like, this is dumb. When I saw the list of people, I was like, this is crazy dumb. Who the hell put this together? Like and that's another thing. They didn't put together a list of people I think would be like if I was putting together a list of people like, oh, these are stars or people who maybe do reality TV or social media influencers or actors who potentially could have been in a tier 1 organizations within the military. That none of these people, none of them stand out to me as somebody who would have been a good candidate. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be slick or nothing. I ain't trying to slick talk nobody. I'm just saying that like the people who go into the tier 1, and again, I'm salute to them because those folks are heavy duty. If you go in tier 1 and you get through it, you're a heavy duty individual. All right. There's industrial strength. These jokers is military grade, okay? They serious. They serious people. They serious. A lot of them are psychopathic too. Like a lot of them are true psychopaths. And I don't know how their psychopathy would match with Kody's narcissism. Like his narcissism and the people that he would be working with and associating with, their psychopathy versus his narcissism is not going to be a good match. So I kind of predict that it's going to be a little rough. And again, if you don't like me saying that these guys might be psychotic, again, hit up some of the creators who are from these organizations, and they will tell you that they're not rap tight. And you need those. And as quiet as it's kept, look, whether we like it or not, it is what it is. You need those guys. You need those guys who are willing to do things that normal people are not willing to do or able to do. They do things that they could never come back and tell you what this is part of the reason why a lot of them struggle when they come home, because they do stuff that if they ever told people what they did or what they were supposed to do, one, it will violate secrecy laws. But if they ever like, okay, yeah, we're going to make everything, we're going to declassify everything that you've ever participated in your service. If they came back and told you what they did, you would look at them different. You would look at them like they were monsters. Okay, because they do some horrifying things. Like we asked, and that we put a toll on these guys. And this is part of the reason why when I say somebody, thank you for your service, especially if they're a tier 1 veteran. When I say thank you for your service, I say it with the full understanding that their country, me being a member of this country, their country has asked them to do things that they will carry on their soul for eternity, right? We've asked them to do things that no human being should ever be asked to do, right? And in some cases, we've asked them to do it several times over. Like it's not a one-off thing, right? You know what I mean? So like when I say they're not rap tight, they're not like everybody else. They are not like us. Okay. They're not like the general population. They're not like most people. And when you have those type of people, severely intense people, driven people who will do whatever, like to get it done, and you mix them with somebody who doesn't take responsibility, that's oil and water. That's a mistake. Okay. Like I wouldn't put them, I remember we was talking during the tell-all. There should be a road trip between Kody and Christine's husband David. Look, shit. You know what would be an interesting show? Put Kody in a car with some tier 1 guys. You talking about, you know what I mean? And then you give them, you don't send them out with a pocket full of money and a place to go. You send them out with a destination. You got to get here. We're going to give you enough money to get started, and you got to figure it out. And we're going to get the money to Kody to hold and handle. First time dudes show up, he's supposed to be in a gas station filling up the tank so that they can get to the next spot where they're going to get some more money. And he come out, I put $10 on the tank, and I got myself a burrito. It might be a desert funeral out there joint. Like it'd be crazy. Like, I think that'd be a good show. I would watch that show. Hey, what'd you do? I put $10 in the tank and I got myself a burrito. You do realize we're not gonna make it on $10, right? Especially now with gas prices. $10 ain't nothing. You realize we ain't gonna make it, right? I figure that with the change, we'll be able to put something in. What are you guys doing? I'm telling you, it could get gritty. But I don't know. Like I'll try to watch the show, but we'll see how far I can get in it. No promises. I'm gonna try to do it. But we shall see. We shall see how far I can make it in that show. But thank you so much, Becky S. Then we have Karen Kirshen. I think it's Kirshen. Karen Kirshen. Let me know in chat if I got it right. 7388 with the $5 super chat. Kody Brown said he might do a review of Special Forces. I'd love to hear what Hunter and Peyton think of this since they were both in the service. Yeah, I think that would be fair. I think that might be their entryway into like commentary or discussing these kind of things because they were in the military. They were actually in it. And like I said, all respect to them because they weren't, even though they weren't tier 1 guys, like they weren't special forces or nothing, they were in the shit and they had a commitment. And even those guys, like when you sign up and you do enlistment, right? You can't wake up one day, no matter how hard it gets, you tired, your feet hurt, you got shin splints, your shit jacked up, and this guy's asking you to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so you can do reveille and you can go run like 5 miles. I don't want to walk 5 miles. I don't want to march 5 miles. I don't want to get out there and sing these damn cadence. I don't want to do none of this. But you have to because you have a commitment. If you don't get your ass up, you go into jail. You can either do your 5 years at your post or you could do 5 years in the lockup. Because it's not a thing where I'm tired, I can't do it. We just going to give you the big stamp. We're going to send your ass home. No, you put you in jail. Okay? It's serious. When you sign up for that commitment, they are dead ass. You're going to finish this. So you can either get your ass up, join the thing, or insubordination, we'll court-martial you, put you up on charges, put you in jail, have you serve some time, then kick your ass out of the military, and good luck getting jobs and stuff after that. We're going to ruin your life. So that's a different aspect. So it would be interesting to hear what they have to say. And again, I don't like the idea that this is the one thing, like I said, the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is that I can see a scenario where Kody would look at this and say, when I was doing my special forces training, I feel like I'm close to you guys because I know what you've been through. No, you don't. You were doing play. They were doing real life shit. You were doing play. If you fell down and get hurt, you could have been walking out of the Brat Barracks, tripped down the steps because you missed a step, twist your ankle, and you go home. You go home to your wife. Right? If they fall down the steps, they go to the medic. The medic come out, take them to the hospital. They patch them up, get them. They don't even get them 100%. They send their ass back as soon as they can walk good, and they feel like they can start putting pressure on it. You back in it. That's how it goes. So, that I don't know. The bragging point is going to annoy me. I feel like that's going to be a point that's just going to annoy the shit out of me. When I did my special forces training, you did not do special forces training. You were on a game show. So anytime you guys see him do that, do me a favor. Anytime you see Kody say, I did special forces training, because I know that shit is coming. When he say, when I did my special forces training, just say to yourself, you were in a game show. It was not special forces training. You are not special forces trained. You don't know what it's about. You did some stunts. You did stunts. Let's be honest. That's what this show is. This show is you're going to go do stunts for 2 weeks. Because I think they only shoot for 2 weeks. You go somewhere for 2 weeks. It's hard. Yes. It's dangerous. Hell yes. And you're going to do stunts for 2 weeks. They're going to have you crawl in some mud, maybe carry a gun, get up, take 2-3 shots. And, I've shot before, but it's a little different when you're crawling in the mud and you have some guy yelling at you. And it's like, it feels real. It feels totally real, dude. Like, I can see that conversation too. So, I don't know. We'll see how much I can handle. We'll see how much I can handle. All right, but thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate you. And we have Becky S. Starfire 84RN $10 super chat. Thanks, James. My father-in-law served in Vietnam. He never got welcome home until now. Yeah. And that's one of the things. Like you really don't understand. Like. We put them guys through a lot. And whether you agree with the wars, you don't agree with the wars, when people sign up, and that's one of the things too, they don't send out a questionnaire. You know what I mean? You get your orders and they say, you're going to Fallujah, you're going to Tehran, you're going somewhere in the Middle East, we're going to send you to somewhere fucked up, pardon my friend. We're going to send you somewhere jacked up, right? That's where you're going. They don't say, hey, what do you think about hot weather and sand? You know what I mean? I really prefer like more chill weather. Definitely a place with no bullets being shot at me. Like that's my preference. Like that's not a thing that they do in the military. So you get your orders and you go wherever they send you. Vietnam was a kind of a cluster schmuck anyway, because you did have the draft. You had people not only who didn't want to go, they didn't sign up to go. I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? It's scary. Like, and I had I know a lot of folks who are legionnaires. Like they went to foreign wars. Like they're vets from foreign wars. And I know some people who didn't make it. Like they never came home. And I remember having those conversations before they leave, telling them like, be careful, blah, blah. I'll be fine. And there's a sense when you go, and this is what I'm talking about. I want to break it down real quick, get a little serious, power me. But here's the thing. Part of the reason why some of these guys come back with variant levels of PTSD, I'm going to explain it very succinctly. When you go to these places and like, say you're home and you have a bad night where something crazy happens, right? That's one instance. Like you go through the thing, you're done. When you're in these foreign places, in these war zones, right? You are always scared. You're always scared. You're scared when you're in the base. You're scared when you are told you have to leave the base. You're scared when you leave the base. You're scared when you come back because something go, everything went fine while we were out, but it's the last 5 minutes when I see the base, somebody on the side of the road, there's some junk left on the side of the road. Next thing you know, we upside down on fire. Like there's always something to be afraid of. Like what's going to happen tomorrow? And you live with that, and you live in that constant state of concern, that constant state of fear, and that becomes your place of normalcy for however long you're there. And then when you come back, people just expect you to turn that shit off, like nothing happened. Like when you are involved with these type of things, when you suffer that kind of trauma, you are never normal. Like when people go to war and they have to do the things that they have to do in order to, whether it's following orders or they have to do things in order to survive. That constant state of fear, that feeling that you have, that never leaves you. That becomes part of who you are. And so when I say that, what I'm saying is when you go, you're one person. But when you come home, you're a completely different person. You're it's almost like you're wearing the mask or the face of the person who left. But when you come back, you're not that person anymore. Everybody sees that familiar face and they think that they know who you are. They think that they know what you went through, but they don't understand and they don't know. And that's what makes that hard. And this is why I'm saying, like, when you because I know, like, we got a point where people, thank you for your service, and it just kind of be a reflexive thing that people do. But I really think, like, when you say things like that, you should really take time to consider what it is we're actually saying and really mean it, because it's a sacrifice. Because they sacrifice when you sign up, you put your name on that paper. Some people do it for advantage. Some people, there's a lot of people reasons why people sign up for military. I'm not going to ignore that. But when you do and you go serve, you are changing who you are, especially like because you could be in the service and never go to a war zone. You could be assigned to Germany, living that good life, drinking that good beer, hanging out. You'd be over in Japan. There's a lot of good places that you can go. Be in Honolulu, depending on what branch of service you in. You get some cool assignments, some really cool assignments. But there's always a possibility in the back of your mind that when your next order drop comes through, you could get pulled, and you could go from being in like sunny Florida or in California, San Diego, or wherever, San Francisco, or going to cool places, surfing on the beach, every other weekend down in Virginia, Honolulu, a lot of cool places. You could go from that to, all of a sudden, people, trying to pot shot you. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And so, like, that's why too, I'm not a huge fan. Like, I think that, we have to be more, I don't know how crazy I would get with this, but how much I want to reveal. But in my personal opinion, I think that as citizens, we have to be more cognizant of, when we put people in harm's way and for what reason. Because it's not a game. Like these are not people. It's not a video game. It's not easy. And it requires just kept a little inside baseball. Like games like what's that big war game everybody play? Call of Duty. That's a war propaganda game. Like, it makes people feel like, oh, this is what it's like to be in the military. It's super cool. It's so easy. In that game, you could get blow it up, shot up, nothing happened to you. I mean, you fine. You can go knock off like another 50 guys. It's all good. You Rambo, right? But that's not how it is. So, we have to be very cognizant about the sacrifices that we're asking people to make. And the reality that we're not just asking those people to make sacrifices, but we're also asking their family members to make that sacrifice with them. Because, like I said, I've said before, like, I've had people who've gone and, they've come back different. Going to war, they come back different. I've had friends and family who've gone to war and they haven't come back, right? And to witness the fallout from that, like children growing up without their parents, siblings growing up and living life without their siblings, and parents losing their kids, like it's hard. And while they're away, that fear, that constant fear, that is today the day that some of the guys showing up with they crisp and tight, looking right, showing up, and they care to present you with a letter. It's a day-to-day notification. So I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but I'm just saying, like, so I'm part of me is just not, I'm not really enthusiastic about the trivialization of military service by putting it onto a game show like it's kind of a game and it's something fun to do. There's nothing fun about, like, yeah, it could be fun jumping out of building, jumping off a building, or jumping out of helicopters and shooting at targets. I can see the appeal in that. But when we do it in a reference of this is what it's like in the military, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because if Kody jumps out of a helicopter and he break both his legs on the way down, you know what they do? Cut, stop, everything stops, and everybody, all the medics and everybody, the EMTs and everybody come rushing in. I'm sure they have doctors and stuff on staff, right? And if necessary, they'll put you in a helicopter and life flight your ass to the first hospital. That's not what it's like on a battlefield. You can't twist your ankle, be like, all right, guys, time out. Got a little dust in my eyes. Like, that's not how shit works. So, I just want to acknowledge that. But thank you so much, Becky S. And it's a shame, and it's an embarrassing how we treated a lot of the Vietnam vets when they first returned from their service. Because like I said, it wasn't. None of them. The crazy part is arguing with them and arguing with soldiers about where they were sent is the equivalent of arguing with somebody in a store because you don't like the policies of the store. That dude just clocked in this morning. He didn't make not one decision. He didn't decide to do this, that, and the other. That's something that the people, the executive people, decided in a place that's not even here. Most of them don't even know what it's like to work at work retail, period, much less with customers, period. And they don't know the effect of the policy that they put in place, period. So for you to stand there and yell at the guy who's standing at the doorway asking for your receipt because his boss told him to stand there and ask for receipts. You know what I mean? Welcome back from Vietnam, you baby killer. Like, that dude didn't do shit. Like, he didn't make a decision to go. If anything, he would have chose to stay. Most of them would have chose to stay the hell home. I don't want to go to that. I ain't got nothing to do with Vietnam. I don't know why are we over there? So, again, I tell your father, Becky, tell your father, I said, thank you for his service. Because that, especially those guys, like, I knew I had a cousin who went to Nam, and they actually, it must have happened to a bunch of people, but he was in one of those things where his platoon got wiped out, and he laid there amongst his the fallen soldiers, and they came along. They was poking everybody to see if anybody was alive. He got stabbed, and when they left, he sat out there for like surviving on no food and scarce water for like 2-3 weeks out there until they found him. And he was like, when he got back to the day he died, that dude always, if you go down into his cellar at his house, his whole from floor to ceiling was nothing but canned foods and bottled water. Like, he was messed up. Like, he was messed up. But he never not carried that around with him, So I think that's, when we again, this is part of the reason why it's important that we thank the guys who put themselves, the guys and gals who put themselves in that situation to protect us, that we should be thankful to them and recognize that it's, even if you disagree with the conflict, recognize that they are not the source of your disagreement. They're not the ones that made the decision, especially if they're enlisted. If they're a buck private, they wasn't in the room. Ain't choose shit. Like, if they chose, they wouldn't be going. Like, you know what I mean? So I hats off to them. Hats off to them. Let me get a little something. Becky S. Starfire 84M, $2 super chat. Thank you, James. He didn't have a choice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't have a choice. Most of them didn't have a choice. My cousin didn't have a choice. He got drafted. So because he damn sure wouldn't have win. Would you like to vacation in Vietnam for an extended period of time? Hell to the no. Miss me with that, Chief. So no, they don't deserve to be he definitely, and people who came back from that war particularly, that's a shame how we did them. It's embarrassing. It's not even a shame. It's embarrassing. That shit's embarrassing. You know, because you don't recognize the things that they went through, and then we have part of my struggle too is that we've reached a point now where we thank them and we're quick to say, thank you for your service, but they're still struggling with VA services. They're still struggling with getting the help and the psychological help and the physical help that they need. And everybody will say, anytime we talk about anything else, yeah, but what about the soldiers? Up until the time where it comes time for them to start talking about spending money, and I'm about to get a little political, I apologize. But when it comes time for us to start talking about where we're going to spend the money, nobody ever brings up the soldiers. And I mean nobody. So before somebody jump in there and be like, this one or that one or this party, that party, bump that. Nobody brings up, we need to take care of the soldiers. We need to take care of the people who took care of us. I remember John Stewart had to go down to the year after year. He had to go down and embarrass politicians into taking care of the people for 9/11 who were dying of cancer and getting sick from everything that happened with them buildings on 9/11. He had to go down there every year because they refused to make it a permanent law that they were going to take care of those folks. He had to go down there and embarrass them and beg them for money. And that's a shame. And because how many politicians were elected on 9/11, on the basis of 9/11? How many people ran entire campaigns and slogans and everything else on the back of 9/11 and those first responders? And we struggle to take care of the people who are taking care of us. And that's a damn shame. We should be embarrassed. But I'm gonna crawl in my soapbox. This damn special forces show is ruining my life. But yeah, I'm wind up telling the truth. It is the truth though. But thank you so much, Becky. But we're gonna have to get to some of these phone calls. We had 4 phone calls. I had to look at my why. I just looked at my fingers. I just counted on my fingers. That's so stupid. Like I'm a little kid. We have 1, 2. I didn't go. At least I didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. I just looked at 4. Oh man. Oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4. We got 4 for those. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I'm sending hugs back. Oh yeah, MREs for a year suck. MREs suck. Period. That. The food we sent over there, man. I had a buddy. He used to like the pasta, like the lasagna, and the spaghetti. Like he liked that. But why would you do this to yourself? Maybe that's part of the trick too. They're like, what we gonna do is we gonna give them mashed up food in a pouch. Oh boy, they're gonna be ready to fight like some of the bitches we cut them loose on the enemy. They gonna rip through the town, Jack, looking for sandwiches. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop them off. We're gonna say somewhere in that town is a sandwich with actual bread. Let me at them, Chief. Yeah, them MREs, good Lord. What are we doing, people? We are not taking care of folks. Okay. Somebody said, got to get that cheese tortellini. Oh, man. So I tried part of my brother's MRE years ago. I think it's dog food. Dogs ain't eating that shit. They ain't eating that. So, what you trying to do, sucker? What you think I am? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Food is food. It's not there for flavor. It's there for sustenance. Keep your strength up. Oh man. But yeah, let's go through. We'll drop with Ann first.
Hi, James. This is Ann. I was just calling in. I'm not sure if you're doing the show today or not, but I saw the announcement of Kody joining the show Special Forces, and I've watched that show before. I've watched the first season and part of the second season, and it's definitely like boot camp military style. They're going to be doing a lot of obstacles, and he's going to be, they're going to be yelling and stuff. So I'm curious to see how he interacts with other people yelling at him and giving him directives, and how he's also going to interact with the other reality stars that are going to be on that show that may have a bigger voice and a bigger ego than him. So that's going to be interesting to watch, and how hopefully you'll be able to have your show when we can kind of discuss his interaction and just the show overall. I'm curious to who do you think from Sister Wives, who else would be on another reality show? For some reason, I can see Christine on Dancing with the Stars, maybe Janelle on like an amateur cooking show when she's kind of learning how to cook. Robin, I can't see her on anything because she just, to me, doesn't have a personality. Mary, I don't know. She can be a little flaky, so her personality can sometimes be a little wishy washy. And also, on a side note, with that CPA thing with Mary and Kody and Robin, for some reason, I think that Mary was giving Kody and Robin side money outside of whatever she was putting into the family pot. But that was just my take. What do you think? Hi, James.
Got
This is
that. Hold on
Ann.
a second. All right. Put it on repeat. All right, and thank you so much for the call. Yeah, I think that there will be some yelling and screaming, no doubt, because they have like I said, even though it's a game show, part of the game is watching people get balled out. It'll be interesting to see some of how Cody's response to some of the lady instructors. And he'll at first, I can see Kody starting off like, "This is like when I was married to 4 wives, women telling me what to do." Right? But when your ass start getting tired, it stops being fun. You start hurting because they're gonna have you doing enough physical stuff where you go like their bodies are gonna go through it. It's gonna be rough, okay? And when you get beat up, you start getting beat up physically, your patience start to go down. And then of course you have like the people whom you might feel like in Cody's perspective, I'm putting myself kind of in that place from what I've seen on previous seasons of Sister Wives. He puts himself in a position where he says, I'm joining this special forces thing where I'm going to receive special forces training. And when you look to the left and to your right and you see your fellow cast members, the shape and condition of your fellow cast members predict the credibility of your training, your special forces training and experiences. So if you look to your left and to your right and you have somebody you don't feel like is at your physical par, like they're physically not imposing, they're small, they're tiny, they're slight, and they're at the last part of it too, and they're a reality star show. Like I'm thinking of like young Gia Judice or Teresa Judice. You know, if he's looking at them and say, she's physically fit, but then all of a sudden he can't say that this is like elite training if everybody is able to do it, right? If you're like Gia, I don't think she was working out. I don't know. I know Teresa was doing bodybuilding stuff, but if you look at her, she's not physically imposing. She's just young, and she looks like she's a college girl doing the same shit you doing. Like she looked like she just strolled off the quad wearing a pair of flops and a drug rug. And she's out there doing push-ups and the sit-ups and jumping out of the plane just right next to you. Like you can't say, yeah, I did special forces training. This is the elite training of the world. Like, so with regard to that, I can see Kody going at some of the cast members or co-cast members that he doesn't feel are worthy of this opportunity. So I think that that's going to be interesting. That and the fact that if he tries to take the position that he knows everything and he's trying to counsel them on how to do shit, and frankly, you don't know how to do it because you never did it either. This is your first time seeing this too, sir. So back the hell up because I'm also tired and frustrated and hurt. Like, so that I think that that's going to be interesting. As far as like who would be good for another show, I can see Kody signing up for Dancing with the Stars, trying to get on Dancing with the Stars too. breaking hips and ankles and wrists on that show, trying to fling people around. But I could see him trying to jump onto that show, especially because his whole thing was, I love to dance. Um, the second part of it, the second part of it, who else could be on Dancing with the Stars? Christine, I can see her trying to do it. Um, Janelle, not so much, but Janelle might be a quiet stormer. Like she might actually do it because she's one that would be interested to see her try to do it because you wouldn't expect her to do it. Mary, not so much. Robin, not so much. I can see them bleeding into other shows or guest spots. Christine, Janelle, because they're more popular from Sister Wives. Mary will struggle a little bit because she hasn't. If we're going to be all the way honest about Mary, and this is not me hating on Mary, disliking Mary, but if we're all the way honest, Mary really doesn't have her own voice even on Sister Wives. Mary is usually connected to somebody else. This is part of the reason why Mary has kind of revealed this herself when she says she goes out. And every time she goes out, fans will come up and they will ask her about other people, other cast members. That's a weakness for you on the show. If you're on a show and people don't ask about you or want to take pictures with you or inquire about you, but instead they're using you to inquire about somebody else on the show, that's kind of a weakness for you on the show. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be a Richard. I'm just saying that's it's not good. So if you're a cast person looking to cast, you might cast Mary and Robin. That would be the only way I could see Robin getting cast for anything. You cast Mary and Robin so that they can try to work out their problems. Like what's that one Oprah show? Gail King, I think it was. If was it Gail? Save Me Gail or something like that was the name of the show. Where you get there and Gail gets you crying and shit. Was it Gail King? It was one of her friends used to have a show. I can see the two of them trying to work their problems out on a show like that, or maybe like a Dr. Phil or something, where they try to work through their friendship. It would be corny because they're not friends and they never were. So I don't know how well that would actually do, but I think that that's the only real chance that even Robin has, because even though she's more pronounced on the show because she's a villain of the show, it only really works because she's a relative villain. Like her presence doesn't go beyond the show. Like her reach doesn't go beyond the show because her presence is essentially around how bad and poorly she treats the OG3 as well as the OG13. There's nothing independent. Like does anybody really give a shit what happened with Robin outside of how she treated the other wives and other kids? Like if she came in and said, "Yeah, I just bought a house," she just bought a house. That's a big life changing event. Does anybody have any interest in going into her house and watching her, dress her house up? They do have those like home renovation shows. She could be on that show. Would you watch that? Probably not, I would guess. So I don't know what reality show she would even be on. Like she would qualify for it because her personality, like she doesn't put out enough. She's really like, again, I'm really trying not to be a jerk or sound like a jerk, but this is just my true opinion. Like, I think that for the most part, Robin has pretty much ridden on the coattails of the Sister Wife success for the last maybe 7-8 seasons. Like she hasn't really contributed anything to the show. She does like the quiet stormer stuff. She sits in the background and she creates the drama because she's just that selfish, but it does like she's not doing it. It's more or less what she's doing to somebody else. She's not really a first mover in the sense that like people are trying to find out what's going on with her and how it's turned out with her. They're trying to see what she did to somebody else and the effects that thing is going to have on other people, and whether she's ultimately going to take responsibility or be held accountable for the damage that she did to somebody else. But it's never anything where she does something. It's about her, and we want to see how it develops for her. Even with the the adoption part, which was like a big, huge part storyline for her. That was really, how will this adoption affect the other wives and the other kids? So, you know, do they have a big future in reality show? Like, this is one of those situations where I would say to both Robin and Kody, be careful what you ask for, because you might mess around and get it. You didn't want to do Sister Wives anymore. You want the show to be over so you can explore other options. You weren't really doing Sister Wives. We're going to be all the way honest. Part of my frustration in covering the show, honestly, is the fact that they haven't really done or contributed to Sister Wives in quite some time. Like, you guys haven't really done a whole lot for Sister Wives. You're just basically rehashing a lot of the old ass storylines and story stuff that you had talked about 5 seasons ago. We're just getting resolution on, like, Kody passed. That's been a problem for the last 6 seasons, right? So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So I don't know where, like, if this show ends, I honestly don't know where they go from here. Like, Kody, he pulled in Special Forces. Is there another show like Special Forces they can do? And there's also the realization that being a guest, doing a guest spot or a guest star on a show is completely different than you having your own show. The money is different. So I don't know. Like, he'd have to string a bunch in order for him to make Sister Wife money, doing like even Special Forces and shows like that. He'll make more money per episode on Special Forces than he would on Sister Wives. One, you got to survive those episodes to get as many episodes, log as many episodes as you can for that season. But two, because it's on a bigger network. But two, you have to keep lining those shows up. And will you be interesting and compelling enough coming off of Special Forces to jumpstart a new reality show? I don't think anybody has left any of these shows like Special Forces or Dancing with the Stars and then jumped into a brand new reality show starring them. And if you guys know one, let me know. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's just my assessment. Uh-oh. Hold on one second. Okay. Next up, we got Daisy Reyes.
Hey, James. Just going off of what I said last time, how I thought it was pretty trifling how Janelle waited until she wasn't in a good place romantically with Kody to disclose to the other wives that there had been a lot of frivolous spending and that they should look out for themselves. Um, with that being said, now I understand why when Janelle went over to talk to Mary, she goes in the confessional and says, I'm confused about who's seeing what and who's having control of the money. And I thought she was dumb at first for, you know, uh, being kind of apprehensive to trust Janelle. But now I get it because she's thinking, yo, you've been seeing what's been going on for years and now you're barely warning me. Now you barely got something to say about it. So I guess, I don't know, just surveying the situation, I can see why she was a little bit shady, why she felt a little bit shady with the whole thing.
Daisy Reyes, whether you like her, love her, hate her, you got to give it to her. And she keep it a buck. One of the challenges I think moving forward, and this is also the kind of the downfall of the show, as they move forward and the focus, because the show's coming to a close, as they move away from Kody and Robin and the ills of Kody and Robin, because frankly we're tired of talking about these fools. As we move away from that, let's be honest here. Like, it can start getting gritty because other people gonna start getting looked at too. And Daisy points out something like a strong thing about Janelle, and I've always said this about all of them. Like, when push comes down to shove, there are people who have definitely been victimized in this situation, but we can look at everybody and there are no clean hands in this, because it does beg the question. I don't think that Janelle's a dumb woman. I don't. I think that Janelle was completely aware of a lot of the misappropriation and misspending that was occurring in the family accounts. I think she was aware of it. And with Christine, she acknowledged it. Mary acknowledged it. Kody and Robin, of course, they deny everything. So you can't really trust them and lie about everything. So you really can't trust them. But in that assessment, and again, I'm not taking a pot shot at Janelle. But in that assessment, it begs the question. If Kody had treated Janelle's sons better, her kids better, would Janelle have left Kody because Kody was misusing the money? The answer is clearly no, because he had been misusing the money for years. She didn't break away from him and start talking about how he was, jacking the money up until after she left because he was ignoring her kids. That's when she started, telling her she had to kick her kids out. That's when she lost loyalty to him. So with that in mind, again, kind of echoing what Daisy had said when, because even I was like, Mary, how do you not know who to trust? Because Kody and Robin are ones sitting there, with all the stuff. Like, so when you ask where the money is going, you know how much money was in the pot. $500,000 is missing, and Kody and Robin pull up in a $500,000 car. It's not hard to figure out. Math is math, sucker. But at the same time, part of the problem where Mary could come in is not the fact that she's saying that necessarily that I'll have to watch it again, because it might not be that Mary was saying that Janelle stole the money, but she's saying that Janelle knew the money was being stolen and didn't say anything and chose not to say anything. And now she's coming to her saying, hey, Mary, Kody's stealing money. And then Mary isn't going to jump on Janelle's side like, yeah, you're right. Let's team up together because, lady, you knew he was doing this and you were keeping it from us, and you were covering for him. So no, I don't know if I want to trust you. And I get that part of it. And it also kind of beckons into another thing. If things like this happen, it does beg the question, because, I've always said if something were to happen to my kids, I'm not just going after the people who did it. I'm going, there was a movie years ago that perfectly quantified it. I'm going after, I think it's Man Apart, Denzel Washington. He said it best. He said, I'm not just going after the people who did it. I'm going after the people who was involved. I'm going after the people who knew about it. I'm going after the people who should have known about it and should have stopped it. I'm going after everybody. Everybody gets it, right? Everybody get an invitation to the party. And with this, it's like, granted, Kody and Robin took the money, but Janelle, you kind of covered for him. So, it puts you in a bad situation. And of course, we can get into the, according to their religion, into the social dynamic episodes of what way they grew up and how they were brought up, and evaluation of the men that they have, and plus the input of the religion and community and so on and so forth. And we can provide all that. But at the end of the day, guys, she covered for him. She, like she said, she did the books. She has the records. It's kind of like when Mary's sister talks about now how Kody mistreated her and treated her so bad, and he was so horrible to her. And when we first got to Vegas, he looked me in the face and said he's going to mistreat me for the next 20 years because he had such a terrible time with me for the first 20. So this next 20 is going to be hell out my ass. And she sat there and talked about it, right? Yeah, it makes Kody look bad. But at the same time, if we step back, it makes you look bad too. Because you now all of a sudden you realize that that's wrong. You didn't realize when he was saying it to begin with. It's how they were brought up. She was taught to love her relationship. I get that. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it looks bad. So, and even with the accountant stuff, yeah, I agree. I think that I could see a scenario where Mary was kicking in more money, not just the TLC money, but she was actually kicking in money from her rental properties and from LuLaRoe and her MLM money to the family, or to Kody and Robin, basically buying a spot. And that's the thing too, is that like that kind of relationship prostitution. You know what I mean? It's not a good look. Because you're basically paying to play. Like you're paying an entry fee. They're keeping you around because you cut them a check. And I get it. It might not feel that way. I'm dedicated to the family. Let me write this check out. Who do I make this check out to? Like it's just such a bad look. Such a bad look. The next Kody will be on Traders. Yeah, because they do have like the villains and traders and stuff like that. So I mean, he has opportunities if he can, but he has to embrace. I think part of his struggle, which he very well may get over quickly when them bills start coming due. His struggle, I think, is going to be the fact that he would have to acknowledge that he's the villain. In order for him to participate in those shows, he has to acknowledge that he's the terrible one. And right now, he's trying to be the hero. And I'm sure, like, when he signed up for Special Forces, he wanted to treat it like he was G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, the great American hero. G.I. Joe is there. Here comes Kody Brown, Special Forces. Don't you? You know, I mean, I'm sure that's the theme song he had playing in the back of his head. Like, I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to be an American hero. You know, with his sunglasses pushed up. Guys, I'm going to need a helmet or at least some kind of headband. First time he fall in the mud, like, how does that work? And that'll be the that right there will be the true test of whether this is bullshit or real. Because if you out there training, there's no time for you to hair and makeup. There's no hair and makeup. You out there crawling through mud, you know, bullets flying over your head, landmines going off around you. You ain't got no time to be like, oh, mom, push my hair back because I got that one flap come loose. Like, you don't have time for that shit. You out there spraying stuff on your head. Oh, what are you doing with that? With that aerosol can trying to burn the top of your head off? Like, so nah, that's gonna just be a bad look. That's gonna be a bad look. Yes, we shall see. We shall see. Next up, we got the last two. We have two messages from the same person, Miss Tanya Kata up in the house. Mr. Kata up in the house. Tanya Carter. Let's check it out.
Hi, James. I hate to keep harping on this with the whole like Christine and Kody just not being there for her and her kids when they were on the cul-de-sac, but I was watching reality TV cringe, and they made a good point. Like they're doing look backs, but like everybody, but whenever Truly was in the hospital for kidney failure, when Kody didn't take care of his child, every single night that Christine was at the hospital, okay, I get it. You can't stay up at the hospital with her. You have other children and stuff. You would think he would go home to Christine's children, Aspen, McKelty, who are probably just like reeling with worry, and at least take care of those girls and those kids in that house since Christine is not there, since their mother is not there. She's with y'all's youngest fighting for her life. But no, he goes home to Robin because whenever they call to give the update, you see Robin go into their bedroom, into the purple bedroom, and he's laying on the bed taking a nap. So he's always at Robin's house. It's like, dude, you could have at least been at Christine's house helping take care of things there since she wasn't there if you're not going to stay up at the hospital. Like, my God, this dude is just unbelievable. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, see, here's the thing, and I've said this from the beginning, like that. The circumstances you're talking about flies directly in the face of the initial, I'll say the initial lie, but the initial story that they told us that they were one family. I couldn't imagine being in a family with somebody and something terrible happens, like a child gets sick and they're in the hospital, and there's a possibility that they very well may kick off this mortal coil, right? And this is way before COVID restrictions where only one person could go to the hospital. I am literally surprised that Christine is the only one who goes to the hospital and sits there at night. Like, I granted, like with the hospital visiting hours and stuff, okay, but you would think, especially being as though a lot of their schedules, because they're not working 9 to 5 jobs at this time, that most of their days would be trying to rotate so you always have one of the moms at the hospital at all times. Kody, you're trying to make a way for Kody to be at the hospital at all times, right? So if that means if you guys are in the cul-de-sac supposedly for a reason, so you're close together, right? Because this is where Truly got sick, when they were all in the cul-de-sac. You're telling me that at no point when Truly is sick, you can't say, all right, guys, you come over to my house. Mary, you're in the house by yourself. Your daughter is, I think at that time, she had already, Leon, I won't say daughter, that's disrespectful. But Leon had already left to go to school. They already left to go to school. Mary could have went over there and sat with Christine's kids and made sure that they were okay. And that would have freed up Kody. Kody doesn't have any responsibilities as far as, because according to Kody, it's on the wives to take care of their kids. It's not on me. It's on y'all. Y'all take care of your kids. You make sure your kids are provided for. So they're already doing that. So Kody was free to go to the hospital and sit with Truly. Because what, and this is the crazy part to me. We know now that Truly's okay. But at the time, there was no way that they could have known that Truly was going to be okay. She was suffering kidney failure. People go quick, especially at the age that she was at. People can go quick. You understand what I mean? Like, you don't have like hours for them to, oh, where's Kody at? We will pretend to call everybody's house, but eventually we'll get around to calling Robin's, letting her know. And when she feel like sauteing her ass upstairs and break away from whatever she's doing, to go inform Kody that he needs to get to the hospital right away because Truly had taken a turn for the worse. He could pull up to the hospital and they already covering her head with a fucking sheet. Pardon my French. They coming up with a sheet. He coming in and Christine on the ground crying and the baby got a sheet on her face, looking like Casper the Friendly Damn Ghost. That's what could have happened. And you sit there like you're sitting in somebody's house all day because you too busy and you got to spend time. I got responsibilities. I got to spend time with my other kids. Your responsibility was in that hospital. Have your ass in that hospital. That was your responsibility. That's what your responsibilities were. And shame on everybody. And it's, again, I know this isn't just this is primarily a Kody thing, because I am of the mind, I don't give a shit about like Robin, and we can blame Robin all day. But when push him down the shove, Kody does what Kody wants to do, and he don't give a damn what nobody else thinks. Okay, he does what he wants to do. And if Robin or anybody else, if he had his mindset that I'm going to the hospital, Robin would have tried to dress it up and maybe manipulate him and try to soft shoe him and threaten him. But he could have looked her in the face and said, look, I'm going to the hospital and I'm going to see my daughter. If you have a problem with that, out back, there's a big pile of stones. And I invite you personally to take your ass out back and kick fucking rocks. That's that. I'm going to the hospital. You can't stop me. I'm on my way. Sorry, boo boo. Bye-bye. See you later. Call me when I get home. I'll catch up with you. That's where I'm at. Because like I said, with something like that, you're not going to tell me on a phone call that something happened to my baby. No, hell to the no. I'm there arguing. I'm there fighting. I'm there when the doctor come in there, and because choices have to get made, and you don't have time for them to be doing like the phone tree shit where they calling like a bunch of people to try to figure out what procedure or what they're going to do or whether they're going to do surgery or whatever. I am in the hospital. Especially, you don't have, like I said, you don't have to go to work. It's not like you leaving and going to work. or he has to pay bills, that way, your money is your money. He could have sat in that hospital day and night right next to Christine. You could have been there comforting Christine. Or if you don't like Christine, fine, freaking, I get it. Okay, I don't really care for Christine. Okay, well, it's not about Christine in that situation. It's not about Christine. It's about your daughter. And it would be nice if he went there and he was comforting Christine to make sure that Christine was okay. That would have been nice. But there's no way, like, I'm telling you, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine you just sitting there like, okay, I'm okay with going home. I'm going to get some rest. So I'm going to go over to Robin's house. I'm going to Christine's house, making sure that the kids are okay. I'm not sleeping with Robin. I'm not sleeping with somebody else. Oh, I need a distraction. You're a freaking psycho, brother. You're crazy. You're a crazy person. Look. You can't face, and again, this goes back to like tier 1 shit. You can't face the difficult situation where something terrible could be happening to your child and you face the responsibility and go and deal with that situation. You are not tier 1 material, brother. Sorry to tell you. Special forces my ass. You can't even do regular duty. Because that's crazy to me. That's crazy. And I can see, right? Look, I signed up to be in a plural marriage, and I understand that. And God help me, I'm sorry, but look, I can see a world where I signed up for this, and I'm not saying anything against Truly. I'm just saying, in my heart of hearts, stop right there. Stop talking. Stop talking. Because you are about to ruin this. With anything that I felt for you, you will ruin in the next 3 seconds. In the next 2 sentences that you say after, I feel for Truly, but right after that, anything you say after that, you are taking this relationship, in the future of this relationship, you're balling it up and you're throwing it in the trash. Because if you say what I think you're about to say, I will never look at you the same way again. I will never look. Take a beat, step your ass back, go sit in the little cubby hole, put your thinking cap on, and think about what it is you're about to say to me when I'm telling you that I'm going to go sit with my daughter who is sick and is on a doorstep of death. Like the doctor said, when the doctor they filmed that shit. When the doctor was telling them, like, oh, okay, oh, whoa. Shit, how long? And the doctor started, look, you go to the hospital or you go somewhere where you're dealing with a professional, somebody who does this, and that motherfucker gets scared, you need to be horrified. Doctors and lawyers don't get scared or nervous because it's not happening to them and they used to it. Okay? You go somewhere and the doctor like, oh my God, oh my goodness. You need to be, I never seen nothing like this before. Unless he's new, you should be scared. When the doctors say, oh, you need to get her to the emergency room right now and start making plans to plant her ass somewhere because one or two things is going to happen. And I'm not, look, this is scary. You need to take her to the emergency room immediately. After that, Robin, I was supposed to come over there tonight. I'm not coming. And that's shame on him. You know what I mean? And to a point, like the rest of them, like the other 3, the wives and shit, oh, we're going to come together. We're just going to go past Kody. Fuck Kody at that point. No. Especially if y'all consider yourselves mothers too, there's no way in the world you should have rode with that. Where you at? I'm over at Robin's house to visit with the kids, the young ones, the littles. And you got Truly is like a year older than Solomon, not maybe a little less, but about a year older than Solomon. And you talk about you gonna go spend time with the littles. The little is in the hospital. The hell you talking about? You don't get your ass in that hospital, son. You better look. That's humiliating. And it's a shame that, like, to be honest with you, I feel for everybody involved, just in the fact that there's who raised you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who raised you? Because I couldn't imagine nobody in my circle if they heard that I was living my life like Kody, no, but I couldn't imagine my brother, my dad, especially my dad. James, if you don't get your raggedy ass to that damn hospital, I'm gonna be by there. I'm gonna come see you. You know what I mean? My mom, God love her, God rest her soul. If my mother found out that my daughter was in the hospital and I had my punk ass at the house, oh baby, oh baby. I remember one time, story time. I remember one time, the first time I realized where I stood with my mother and and her grandchildren. I was at my house. We're having I was doing a cookout, right? And my daughter was born. I'm holding, she's a baby, right? So I'm holding her and I'm standing there talking to my mom. And all of a sudden a bee come, right? Like a couple bees come at me. And they get ready to start stinging my ass. And my mother, without hesitation, looks at me and say, "Change their bees, give me the baby." Give me the baby. So in other words, bump you, James, you on your own. That's for you to deal with. That's your problem. Hand me the child so the child is safe. Like you put it in perspective. Like, okay, I see where it is now. I ain't nothing. I'm just the guy holding the baby. You know, I'm just a stranger. That's the way it is. So I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine a universe where my mom had found out that my daughter was in the hospital, sick, and like sick in the fact that she on death's doorstep. I'm getting some phone calls, and them calls are gonna have some cussing in it. Like I'm talking about that pure D classic cussing. Like I'm talking about that cussing, like that cussing that you get only from like people who are true artisans of the craft of cussing. Okay, because my mother was an artisan of cussing. she is. You say it in such a way, but like, oh, that was creative. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would get cussed out, and part of it would be that I can imagine a scenario where she would be at the hospital. She would be calling me from James. I'm at the hospital, and I don't see where you at. Where you at? What you doing? And what's going on? Because I've been here for a minute, and I haven't seen you yet. Are you talking to somebody? You downstairs? Where you at? Because you need to be here. Oh, mom, you don't understand. I had to go home, check on some things, and I thought I'd get a little rest. Well, you can get some rest here. So you need to turn your ass around and get over here. Because if something or it was to happen, and I can hear my mom saying this, I've caught myself saying this to my kids. You would never forgive yourself. If something happens and your ass was at home taking a nap, and something happens at this hospital, you will never forgive yourself. So you need to get your ass over here. And that's again part of that type of counseling, part of that type of relationship isn't that they're just looking out for the other person, like your kids, or trying to make sure you're doing the right thing. They're actually looking out for you too. Because part of that concern would be, Kody, if God bless that nothing happened. Nothing happened. But God forbid, if something were to have happened to Truly and you were kicked back on Robin's bed, you, if you had a heart, would never forgive yourself for that. You'll never forgive yourself. Oh, I took my time. I wasn't really worried about being there. You know what I mean? She's there because anything can happen. When the people go in the hospital for dumbass reasons and never come out. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I'm going to the hospital. I think I got a little indigestion. No, it ain't indigestion. You're having a damn heart attack. Your widowmaker just blew up. You got about 12 seconds. And that's if you're in the emergency room. You got about 12 minutes, I think. Your widowmaker blow. It's a vein, artery that runs in your heart. Did that bad boy blow? Lights out, Jack. It's over. And things happen that fast in the hospital. And you were already told and warned, but nope. I gotta go spend time with Robin because Robin's is special. I think he'll put it down. Bump that putty cat. I mean, that crusty dust. You don't get your ass to the hospital and do what you're supposed to do. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, and I don't know. That's part of the thing with Sister Wives, boy. It get you fired up, like, because it's just so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. Like, I mean, and then when Christine was sitting there talking about it, his reaction, like Christine's breaking down, talking about how this terrible thing was happening to Truly and all the things she was going through. And clearly, Truly was okay because they shoot the couch confessionals much later after everything has been resolved. That's just how they do reality show. So clearly, we know what happened. But you could see that when Christine started talking about it, as with most things that are traumatizing, when you start talking about things that traumatize you and affect you, and especially if they affect you deeply, when you start talking about it to a point, you start reliving it. You relive that moment when you heard that your daughter was sick. You relive the moment, the fear and the uncertainty of what was going to happen to your child, and the prospect that this could have been your life in an alternate universe. If you believe in quantum physics and talking about like the multiverse and all that other shit, if you believe in that theory, then in another universe, your child is gone. There's another version of you walking around, and that child is gone. And that could have very well have been you. And that doesn't affect you no kind of way. And not only did it not affect Kody, but when she was talking about, when Christine was talking about it, you could see that Kody was visibly annoyed that she was even bringing it up. How dare you talk about how something almost happened to Truly, that child, your child, that thing. Like that's how he was acting. Like, oh yeah, something almost happened to that thing. Can't believe you're even bringing that up. That's your baby girl. What are you doing? Mind blown. Mind blown. Mind blown. And even then, like, again, I get all the pre-made, societal pressures and how they grew up and difference of opinion, blah blah. I get all that, but I don't know how y'all stay with and I'm just saying, like, from a person on the outside, I am on the outside. I'm not part of their community. I don't know nothing about it, that lifestyle. But I'm just saying, from a person on the outside, I couldn't imagine a scenario where you look at a person that you're with, and this is what I was saying about Robin. Like, if Kody was to approach Robin, or Robin was to approach Kody, he should have looked at her and said, "Look, the next 2 words out your mouth will determine whether we still married or not. Will you tell me that I ain't got to worry about my child in the hospital? Because at this point, come by, I'll scoop my kids, but we can't be together. If you can't understand why me visiting my child in the hospital is more important, and not my child in critical condition in the hospital. It ain't like she going there to get her teeth pulled, her baby teeth pulled, or she getting a wisdom tooth out. She's there for potentially major surgery. Potentially, she could be there for for observation, treatment, and things to try to save her life. If you can't understand why it's important for me to be at the hospital for that, as opposed to being at your house to read what bye bye Bowie, black sheep, bye bye black sheep, have you any wool, to little hammerhead and the small one. If you don't understand why this is important and this might not rise to the level of the same importance, then we shouldn't be together. That will be the thing. If you can't understand why it's important, like, you can love your children, but your kids need you at different times. Right now, Solomon and Ari, they want me, but as it stands, Truly needs me. And I'm going to be there for my daughter if she needs me. That's, as a father, that's your job. I don't understand. Like, I don't even see where that's a discussion. That's it. That's that. What are we talking about? And I wouldn't even. Me and Robin were to have that conversation, she'd either have to catch me when I'm there to pick up some clothes, or pick something up for Christine, or we would be having that would be a phone call conversation. James, when are you coming over to my house? Because I haven't seen you. Me and the kids miss you. Well, I will be there when I get there. Right now, I'm dealing with this at the hospital. You know where I'm at. And if you're not there, my expectation, especially as a woman, would be, you know, if you don't you don't know where I'm at, you know where as a woman who's a mother of the child, you should have looked at him and said, you know where he should be. If he's not in the hospital, why are you not in the hospital? What's going on? What happened? Oh, I just came back. I was gonna get some sleep. Well, they ain't got no beds over there. They had those seats that fold out. Usually the hospitals I've seen, they had the seats that fold out almost like beds. You can sit in that big recliner seat and go to sleep. They got couches in the waiting room. They usually have a comfort room for people with folks that you can go sleep in that room if necessary. But I'm not going to be but 5 minutes away. If something happened, I'm coming upstairs. Maybe I'll be out front getting some fresh air, some coffee off the truck or some shit, sandwich or whatever off the truck, or drive down, get some, food or whatever. But I'm not going to be much further than that. I'm definitely not driving all the way home and kick back on somebody else's bed. So I don't know. This was years ago, James. It's not really fair to criticize Kody now, Mr. Special Forces. That's a special needs, because that shit is crazy to me. That's crazy. That is crazy. You can't. I don't know. But here's Tanya Kata, number 2.
The other thing I was thinking in regards to Robin, on the other hand, like, Robin just never does the right thing. It's like, I think we could all get on board with, like, the majority of what went down is totally on Kody's shoulders. It's, you can't really blame Robin because she wouldn't have been able to do things if Kody didn't allow it. But at the same time, she's not a good woman. There's no way I'm going to let my husband be laying in the bed, taking a nap at my house, chilling, kicking it, when not only he has other children and other wives on the cul-de-sac that would love to see him at their house. But one of my sister wives is in the hospital fighting for what I call one of my children. I would be like, dude, get the fuck off the bed and go over to Christine's house and make sure that Aspen and McKelty and all of the kids over there, Gwendolyn, that all of them are okay. Like, they need you right now. Take one of them up to the hospital. Take Aspen up to the hospital. Let her see her sister. Let Christine get a break. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's a testament to Robin and who she is. And this is why nobody fucking likes her. There's a guy, Seattle psychologist on YouTube, and he talks about Robin a lot and actually makes some really good points about her that I really never thought of. But yeah.
I'm going to check that out. Thank you so much, Tanya. And I agree. Like, I think that, like, even beyond the sister wife stuff, like, and story time. Here's the thing. When I won't say I was looking for a partner, because that's not really how it worked out. But when I met my my partner, when I met my wife, right? One of my considerations always whenever I started dating somebody or started going out with somebody, one of the things that was always kind of a box for me was if I was to have children with this person, or if they already have children, right? How do they take care of their kids? Because that was important to me, right? It's not just important from the respect of, they take care of their kids. Are they good mothers? No, I want to make sure that if you have a child, right? If you have my child, especially looking down the line, if you have my child, but if you already have kids and you half-ass do your kids, why would I think that you're going to do my kids any better? If you're willing to leave you have a 2-year-old and I say, hey, let's go to dinner. And you say, cool, where are we going? I say, wherever. Oh, I'm going to take you to Capitol Grill. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to take you to Salsa Brava, baby. Get it together. We're going for Mexican, right? And I take you out to go get something. And we come on home. I'm going to say, who's your babysitter? Like, are they gonna be mad if we go somewhere else? Or you look me in the face and say, "Oh, my 2-year-old is home by themselves." What? Let me get your ass home. Because we ain't got no business together. There ain't no way. Because if you're not taking care of the children that you have, why would I give you more children? If it's not in you to deal with your kids and consider your children, I'm not going to give you more children. We're not going to have more kids together. It's not a thing, right? Or if you're not the kind of person where I can see that in you, that you'll be a good parent or you'll be there for your kids. I'm not making babies with you, and I'm certainly not going to make babies with you only that you're good to the kids on contingency that I'm present. I want somebody who's going to be committed to their children. And I find that's attractive. If you're committed to your kids, that's attractive to me. Why? Because if something were to happen to me, I need to be able to rest my head on, wherever I go, I need to be able to rest my head assured that my kids are going to be okay. I need to be sure that they're going to be okay, that they're not going, they might as well just crawl in the hole with me because this one ain't no good. She ain't nothing. Like, no, I need to make sure that they're okay. So that was my prerequisite when I was looking for a partner. And in this particular case, Robin, how do you sit there with a man whose child is in the hospital and you still worried about him coming over your house because you're special and you're so amazing and so all? If he can do this to your child, his child, if he can walk out of a hospital where his kid is potentially laying on a deathbed to come lay on your bed, what do you think is going to happen? You know it's in him. At that point, you know it's in him. What are you thinking? Like, what? I'm winning because I'm special. I'm different than them. Today, you're different than them today. But the way things worked out, he didn't get anybody else. He's so in love with Robin, supposedly. But what happens if he meets somebody else and he gets the new one? And the new one wants him coming around the house. And Solomon and Ari get sick. Do they get dropped off? Because I've always had the perspective, like, look, I do not have self-esteem issues. I'm a very confident person, right? But I do have reality. I have a strong sense of reality, right? I don't think that I'm so special and so wonderful that I am going to make somebody be something that they're not or act in a way that is foreign to them. What do you mean by that, James? What I mean by that is I think that if you are a shitty mom to your existing kids, if I give you kids, I'm not so special and so wonderful that all of a sudden you're going to become mom of the year. You just going to be a shitty mom to my kids. Right? That's what I think. I think that if I cheat with you, then you'll cheat on me. Right? If I lie with you, then you'll lie to me. I think that that's the way it goes. If Kody is a shitty dad to Christine's kids, I don't understand why you get off thinking that he's going to be a better dad to your kids. Oh, but he's an amazing father to my kids now, and Christine and them just drove him away. If you talk to Christine and Mary and Janelle, he was an awesome dad to their kids too. They talk like they can't believe that he became such a shitty father after you came into the situation, and now he's such a terrible dad that doesn't want to be involved because he was so involved. This is who he was. He was always that way. You were just, Christine, Mary, and Janelle, like it or not, as far as I'm concerned, they have a little bit of plausible deniability because they were the first parents. But if you are the second tier parent, you're the second group of parents who come in and you watch him mistreat his first group of kids and you have additional kids with him, you watch him lie to those kids because he's sneaking over to your house. He's lying to those wives because he's sneaking over to your house. He's leaving his 8, 9, and 10-year-old daughter to take care of his kids because he's too busy over there trying to knock your boots, then that's the dude that you with. When your kids are going to need him at some point, maybe he'll be there, maybe he won't, depending on how good your relationship is with him. And you should be concerned, especially as you start to get older, Robin. You should start being concerned because you're not the young pretty wife anymore. So I mean, I don't know how you like, and you know it's crazy too. Kody said, when it comes to relationships, men don't need love. We need to respect. I don't know how you lay next to somebody who does their kids like that. How do you respect a parent that doesn't take care of their kids? Just real talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would look at that if my wife had kids or previous children and she did her kids like Kody did his kids, but I'm a great mom to your kids, James. I couldn't respect her. Like, you don't take care of your kids. Like, you only worried about my kids. What? Oh. Maybe you shouldn't be around my kids either, you psycho. Like, I don't know how you respect that. I just don't. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I might be a weirdo. Maybe I'm a weirdo. Something wrong with me. But I don't know how you oh yeah, you going upstairs and lay down. I mean, if something happens to Truly, I'll come up and get you. A real one, whether he's with the baby mom or not, you need to get your ass to the hospital because, like my mom would say, if something were to happen to that baby and your ass is here, you will never forget yourself. But that only works. I'm going to give a little bit of a thing. That only really works if you have a sense of conscience and you have a sense of empathy and compassion and sympathy that you can tap into. If you're a shitty person, then it won't change the expression on your face. If anything, the child being sick is an inconvenience to you. In which case, again, I don't know how you keep making babies with him. If he's not, taking care of the kids he got, I don't know why you giving him more kids. I don't know. Maybe I need a math magician up in here to help me add that shit up because I don't get it. If you're not taking care of the babies you have, I'll be damned if I'm gonna give you some more babies to take care of. You messing up with this batch. What are we doing? I mean, I don't put good money after bad money. I damn sure don't put back, more kids on top of somebody who don't know how to do with current kids. Like, what? You gonna go out there and find nothing but birth control pills. I don't care if I gotta mash them shits up and put them in your breakfast cereal. You know what I mean? We are not having no more children. James, is this prophylactic? Yes, it is. I told you I don't like this stuff. That's too damn bad. And like I said, I don't know how you do. I don't know. I don't know. Robin different though. Robin, God bless him. Or maybe it's just the show. Like they always like to say that. It's just the show. It's not real. It's just the show. It's the way they script things. It's the edit. That is not the edit. Because you would have to edit me out before the baby got sick. Like that it would be ridiculous. Like the edit would look totally ridiculous. Hey James, hey, what's going on? How is James bald headed in this particular episode? He got a full, dreadlocks when the baby gets sick. Hey guys, that's the crazy edit they would have to do for me. Like, are you crazy? Because I'd just be in the hospital. I don't know. And then use it, and then for him to use like, oh, I got other kids I gotta take care of. I got other responsibilities. That's why I can't be in the hospital all along. You are crazy. You don't get your ass to the hospital. And like I said, I can see people trying to he try to justify it, but like I said, I guess maybe it's just a difference in women that you deal with. I don't see any of the women that I've ever dealt with on a serious, like in a serious way. And this definitely includes my wife, my current wife. I say current wife, like I had like 50 of them. My wife. I I would be hard pressed to imagine. I would have to put on my thinking cap and use imagination for me to come up with a scenario where I have a child. Like, say I had, like, it could be a thing. I have a kid that I just found out about yesterday. This child is like 34 years old or whatever, walking around. 34, jeez. Like, kid's 30 years old, whatever, walking around, 25, some shit, walking around and get sick. I just found out tomorrow that the child even exists, much less, you know, the child is sick. I found out yesterday, child exists. And the reason I found out is because they're in the hospital and they need some blood work or family history or something. And this is my child. If I said I lose my damn mind, I go cuckoo crazy for Cocoa Puffs, and I say, I'm not going to that damn hospital. I ain't know nothing about that child. That child's a stranger to me. I couldn't imagine my wife saying, cool, go on upstairs, get some rest, and I'll call you when the phone rings. I couldn't imagine that. Because what she would say is you need to get your ass to the hospital because no matter what happened, that ain't got nothing to do with the child. No matter what happened between you and that and your ex or whatever, we can figure that shit out later. That's something between you and your ex on why you didn't know that you had a baby. We can figure that out later. But for right now, you need to get your ass to the hospital because that's where you need to be. And in light of what my mom said, in the back of my mind, I can still hear her talking to me. She would say, you better get your ass to the hospital because if something happens to that baby and you're not there, you will never forgive yourself. And that's if I don't know the child. Like I just found out yesterday I had a child and the child was sick. You know, truly. You were there when the child was born. You caught her when she came out, remember? You were in the hospital cosplaying a doctor. We got to watch that. That's how I know what Special Force is going to look like because we also got to watch Kody cosplay doctors and shit. When Truly was born, he went to the hospital, was basically telling the doctor how the baby was going to happen, and he was going to run the hospital room. When he convinced Robin to have the babies at home, he sat there and acted like he was running the damn room then too. I'm running. I'll tell you how to do this. I've had 19 kids, sir. I've delivered 30 kids this month. You know? So I might have a little more experience than you, sir. Well, I mean, you haven't personally had anything. Okay, you were in the room when children were born, but you didn't have any children. You don't know what it's like. You want to know what it's like, sir? Come over here and put your nuts in this vice grip. Sorry, I got vulgar. I'm going to show you what it's like to have a baby. And as I squeeze this, I'm going to say to you, breathe. And we'll listen for your response. You know, as I tighten it, you know, now breathe. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. You got to catch your breath. He's still trying to figure out how to stay standing and shit. Like, breathe. You mean through all the screaming and yelling and the pain? Yeah. But that's what you was doing. You was there. You were the coach. You know what I mean? And again, I've been in the room. I've seen it. I'm a vet too. I'm like Kody. But I'm not gonna sit there and pretend like I know what it's like to be pregnant or go through labor. That's ridiculous. And that's another little comparison we can make. His time on special forces is the equivalent of him being in a room watching his babies be born. Yeah, you're a part of it. You were there, but you didn't really do it. You don't know what it's really about. You know what it's like because you've seen the sights, the smells, the the horror. Oh, they're not but the thing I love. Don't take these beautiful, beautiful things that I've got. Like that, you know what I mean? That's how the fathers feel when they watching their wife get stretched out. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got. Like that, and you got to experience that. But again, nuts, vice grip, breathe. We don't know nothing about it. We don't know nothing about it. I like to think I'm very progressive in some respect, but I'm not gonna sit there and pretend for a minute that I know what it's like to pass a child. Been there, watched it, but I no no clue. Okay. Just like going to special forces TV show, you have no idea what it's like to actually be in the service. You're there, you're participating, but you're not in the shit. Okay. Uh let me get his last super chat. Oh, we had a super chat. Hold on, guys. Becky S. Starfire 84M gifted one My Take on Reality membership. Thank you so much. Let's give a little something. Shum. Thank you, Becky. Ooh, I had the volume all the way up. I was in boom, boom, boom. Thank you so much, Becky. Appreciate you. And we're gonna have I'm gonna have a membership live tomorrow. Just gotta figure out when I'm gonna do it. But keep an eye out. I think I'm gonna do it around noon Eastern Standard Time. All right. But next up we got Jody Pierce Scala 5891 999 super cheat. I think he is doing show so the instructors allow him to pull faults out and allow him to let them give him help instead of him fixing problems himself. Right. Yeah, right. Well, because you know what, as weird as it is, I can see a scenario where like the instructor will come in and try to tell him what, yeah, you're messing up here, that, you got to tighten this up, you got to do this, that, and that. And he'll be like, I was listening to the instructor and he's 100% right. And it, like, I really got to push my mind. Like, this is really pushing my mental to my physical. This is incredible. I can see him doing like that kind of reflection. And of course, nothing is going to be his fault. That'll be like the how tough it is, and he has all the respect in the world for the military service. And this just shows how gritty it could be, especially if he fails at something. This shows how special these guys really are, that they do this every day. And I'm just here for like 2 weeks, and I'm only getting a taste of it. I mean, it's really invigorating, but it really makes me respect everything that they do. And again, when I respect the sacrifices that the military people make. But at the same time, you don't have to be a decent human being. You don't have to do extraordinary things. You just have to be a human being. Like, we could sit here and talk all day about some of the things that we watched on the show about how he was failing and not taking care of his kids and putting his kids forth, right? And I had a whole thing where we talked about like the truly hospital experience. In that situation, you don't have to be G.I. Joe. You don't have to be Rambo. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Batman, Spider-Man, none of the superhero stuff. You don't have to be a Greek god to show up for your kids. You don't have to do special forces training to be present for your children. You don't have to do all that. And the thing is, if you take the 5 damn minutes or take the hour, take the night to make sure your kids are okay, that would be more impactful than your 2 weeks at a pretend show, pretending to be special forces and doing make-believe soldier shit. That would have been way more impactful, and it would have been more meaningful to your kids and to your family. And like, I don't know. this is part of the reason why, like, him doing the show, I'm not insulted by it because, like I said, I don't really see it as like them making fun of military service, but it's just there's so many regular things that he could do to improve his image. You don't have to go on a soldier show, fake soldier show, soldier of fortune show to improve your image. You just have to be present for your kids. You just have to try. And that would go a lot further than you being on this show. And somebody said that you just got to be a dad. Kathy Ferran. Of course it's Kathy. Of course it's Kathy. But yeah, you just gotta be a father. You know what I mean? Be a father. Be a kid's hero. Forget, like, you know what I mean? It's nice. Parades are nice. Being recognized by, Congress people or president and they put medals on your chest. That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool as shit. But what's even cooler? When you look back on your life and you remember the time that you spent with your family. That's cool. Being a dad is cool. Being present for your kids is cool. Being there when they need you is cool. You know what I mean? Everything else is all right. It's all right. In this case, like, you would rather be celebrated by a bunch of strangers than recognized by your children. Priorities. Priorities. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, I can see like some of the maybe the instructors will say things, because even at Jody's point, I can see what she's saying. Like, the instructors will give him like some insight as far as like, you need to take accountability for the things that you do wrong and stop trying to put it on other people. The sad part is that I can see in that situation where he would say, the instructor said something that I really got to stop and think about because, these guys been through it and I totally respect everything that they've done. Right? The fans have been saying that shit for 19 seasons, bro. The fans have been saying it for 19 seasons. Your wives have been saying it for God knows how long. That you got to start taking, accountability and being responsible for the stuff that you do. And it takes a stranger to say it to you. And as long as that stranger is holding a weapon, a K-bar and a automatic weapon, all of a sudden, or a semi-automatic, semi-auto weapon, all of a sudden, it means something. Like, bruh, you are lost in the sauce, brother. You're lost in the sauce. Waste of space. But let me give you a little something, Jody. Yeah, guys. But that's, yeah, I don't know. Some of this stuff, like, I'm looking forward to, getting back into it and talking about these fools and his foolishness. But, like, Kody, like, I don't know. I'm so torn on it because he has to do better. And I do recognize that I'm about to make him very popular, or at least be a part of making him very popular. And there's a possibility he may span beyond like the sister wife verse. But I think that there's also, just in closing, like, we got to be very cognizant of the fact that he's doing additional shows very well may demonstrate that Sister Wives as a show is coming to a close. This might be the death knell that the show is coming to a close, because I don't really see TLC letting him go off to do another show, because it would help. In one respect, I could see him doing it because it would help to get the word out about Sister Wives and maybe introduce a new audience to Sister Wives. But at the same time, if Kody were to go to this special forces thing and get hurt, and he can't do Sister Wives anymore. But I don't know. At the same time, it would give him a storyline. Kody trying to learn to walk again. Like, that would be a storyline for them to have. And that would be something that's independent of Christine, Mary, and Janelle. then he definitely would be interested in like and Robin could sit there and come out and be like, he's such a brave man and he's the toughest man I ever known. And I'm walking out with my little tray of like soup or whatever that I just took into him. And it just breaks my heart because to watch him run around and he's not doing that anymore. And it affects me and the kids so deeply. And I'm an ugly cry now because I'm so afraid. And none of the tears coming out, like that kind of shit. Like, so it would give them something to talk about. They don't have to say Christine married Janelle at any time during that. And they might even say it like Christine married Janelle. They never came and visited me. He talks about them all the time, and he just wishes the best for them because he's such a good man. No tears, right? So maybe from that respect, TLC would let them do it. But I kind of think that this might be it, guys. I think that this might be it. I think season 20 might close this bad boy out. You know, let me know what you guys think in the comments, in the chat. But we have Lizzie B. Mega Ma, Lizzie B. How you doing, girl? How you doing, Lizzie B? Gifted one my take on reality membership. Thank you so much, Lizzie. Get a little something. Did I get? Yeah, I did. Give Jody Scholar something. Give you something, Lizzie. Let me give Jody something because I don't know if I gave her something. Yeah, but we shall see. We shall see. Hey, thank you for the welcome back. James, we say that every season. Yeah, this might be it, guys. Yeah, but every season, I don't know, be closer and closer to the truth. You know, I don't know, because I just don't know where the show would go from here. You know, and the fact that Kody is trying to get another show and he's branching out. So I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Make sure you check back in because we are going live this Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It should be live and lit. We're going to have some fun. So I shall see you then. I'm going to be releasing some videos. I got to put some videos together and get those out. But check for those. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel because sometimes YouTube gets funny and drop you guys out. But I appreciate you. Before we go, let me give a huge shout out to everybody who called in. We had Ann, Daisy Reyes, and of course we had Tanya Kata. Miss Kata. So thank you guys so much for calling in. And I appreciate everybody in the chat, keeping things live. Welcome back. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get things rolling. It's going to be a good time. Got some big plans. We'll see how it works out. All right. But let me give you guys all a little something, especially to my Mega Mods Caramel Cutie, Lizzie, B.O.G., Triple O.G., and Brittany, not Brittany up in the house. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with a player. Appreciate you. We're going to keep up and we're going to keep the ball rolling. We'll check out Special Forces Season 4, see how that works. And we got Sister Wives dropping relatively soon. I think that's coming out next month. So we'll have that. And then we have Christine's book coming. So we have a lot of things to talk about. But I look forward to seeing you guys all in the funny papers. Holla at your boy. Make sure you take care of your family. Take care of yourself. Keep everything funny. And don't forget, I'm James. This is my take. And this has been my take on reality. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'm James and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Yeah.